All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to episode 39, which I only just realized as I was doing the prep that we were on 39. Got another big episode coming up, number 40, right?
Yeah.
So, welcome to episode 39.
It's almost 42.
Yeah, indeed.
It's crazy.
I don't know what that means. I've never watched any of that nonsense.
No, it's not anything.
It's
just
like the nerdy whatever, that one show where 42 is the answer to all the life's questions or whatever shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I wasn't even. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's I don't remember what it's called. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
All right. So, let's go ahead and jump on in. Let's hit the intro and get the podcast side started as well. And we can dive right into a nice packed episode here on a Sunday or a San Diego Comic-Con Saturday.
Oh, stuff going on.
It is happening as we speak.
Is it happening right now?
It is. It is. Started Thursday or Friday or Wednesday or I think Wednesday night, and then Thursday all day, Friday all day, and Saturday all day. So we'll talk about it, though. I got some stuff to talk about on that. So let's go ahead and hit the intro and get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
All right, hello and welcome to episode 39 of Geekery Abides. I am always here, as always. Your host is Tad, and my co-host with me here in the...
No.
Yeah.
I'm Deadpool. He's Wolverine.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I much prefer Magneto. He's pretty awesome. We're here for episode 39. The main topic will be Deadpool, but we do of course have some news and some other shenanigans to talk about. First of all, let's hit you up with the emails. If you want to reach out to the show, you can do that by emailing either of us directly. That is either Peter at geekeryabides.com or Tad at geekeryabides.com. We do produce the episodes every other, so all the odd episodes I produce, all the even ones Peter produces. So if you have feedback or show ideas, or even if you wanted to surprise someone, if you wanted to surprise Peter with something, say, you'd of course want to email me about it so I can spring it on him. So that is a way to contact the show. And then up next, of course, is what are you watching, reading, playing, or what have you been watching, reading, playing? So what have you been up to, sir?
I watching Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously.
Yeah.
Finished The Acolyte, season 1. Yesterday we had a lazy day. We didn't do a damn thing. So we watched a couple old movies. Well, one old movie and one fairly new one. Raya and the Last Dragon's a Disney film. My daughter picked that one. And then I showed my daughter for the first time, I showed her Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, that just hit Disney for the first time.
Classic.
Apparently that hadn't been on there. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think it was the day of the Acolyte. I jumped on and the first banner was Angels in the Outfield. I'm like,
the hell?
come on, man. It's the day of the finale for Acolyte. That should be the first banner. But I was like, at the same time, I was like, oh, I didn't know this wasn't on here. I need to rewatch it. I grew up watching that movie.
Such a fun movie. Also, holy fuck the number of people that are in that film.
Really?
Dude, Matthew McConaughey's in that film.
All right.
Yeah. Tony Danza. Obviously, Danny Glover is the main guy. And then there was one other one. What was it? Oh, Neil McDonald for us.
Oh, yeah. Neil McDough.
McDowell. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Band of Brothers alumni, you know.
Buck Compton. Indeed.
Way before Buck Compton came around,
Interesting.
1994 for Angels in the Outfield. So.
Yeah. Nowadays, you'd have to say, hey, what's it going to take for you and Mom to get back together for the White Sox to win the pennant? That's what it'd be nowadays.
I just have to comment on why baseball movies have it be win the pennant, not win the World Series. I don't know why that is. Like Major League Major League, the two major leagues that I grew up watching, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Both of them were about winning the pennant.
Yeah.
Like, not winning the World Series, but winning the pennant. It's
No.
like, well, wait, that's not even the championship.
Because-
I realized it yesterday. I'm like, none of these baseball movies are about winning a goddamn championship.
Well, it is because when we were children, there were 2 leagues.
Yeah.
They didn't fully merge together into one singular league until 2000. So
But it was the World Series still
yeah, but
before
the
that.
pennant is like that. You're National League champion, so that's
Yeah.
like it's a bigger deal in baseball than it is like football or some of the others. Like the pennant's kind of a big deal. I mean, yeah, you'd want to go on and win the World Series too,
Yeah.
but like I mean, look at Arizona right now. All the celebrating they've been doing this year for winning the pennant last year. So even if you
Yeah.
do end up falling short, it's a big deal. But
I mean, I get it. My football team won the NFC Championship game and went on to lose the Super Bowl, but
yeah.
still, you lost the championship. Like, it's just interesting that they don't talk about winning the World Series. It's always
Yeah.
the pennant. It's always the pennant. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting with baseball. Baseball's a weird sport.
Yeah, it is. I love it though.
But reading, I finally finished Swan Song.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
did you like it?
it was good.
Yeah,
It was good.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It was.
It's always weird to read something that's not King, though, because
It
there's
is.
just King
It
things that
is.
you get used to, and then when you read someone that's not him, it's like, wow. Like, not that it's bad, but it's just sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like, it's the difference where it's like, oh, that's different.
That is different than what King would have done.
It's like if you eat pizza all the time and then suddenly you eat a taco, you're like, it's not bad, but it's like,
This is not pizza.
this is not pizza.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it was. But also, I finished Swan Song, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to need something to get me through the rest of the week. So I talked with my wife, and I gave her, like, all right, here's the 4 books I'm thinking about, because I wanted to do a reread. And I wanted to do something that I hadn't really read a ton of, or for a long time. And she ended up choosing The Long Walk for me.
Which,
So I re-listened to The Long Walk. Dude, only 10 hours.
yeah,
Short little book.
It's a short one, for
It's
sure.
a short little walk down the road, kind of thing. So-
Indeed.
so I did-
Shorter for some than others.
Shorter for some than others. And then, which that is by Stephen King. And then I've just been playing 7 Days to
Oh,
Die.
Richard Bachman, you mean?
No, it's by Stephen King. Writing as Richard Bachman, as it clearly states in the intro to the book.
All right. So for me, I've been playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Not a lot of change there. Reading, I've been reading The Stand. Still going on that. And then did finish The Acolyte. That season wrapped up. I finished up The Boys. That season wrapped up. House of the Dragon has 2 more episodes tomorrow and then next week, so I'm still watching that. Mayor of Kingstown, I believe, is the same. I think it has a couple episodes left. I'm watching that, digging that. That 70s Show, still watching that. Is just
So your go-to 20-minute show?
yeah, exactly. And then went and saw Long Legs twice in theaters.
Looks so good.
The new Osgood Perkins movie, upcoming Monkey director.
Sounds like a fucking Batman villain. Osgood Perkins at your
Yeah.
service.
Well, Anthony Perkins is his dad, so he knows something about
Makes
villainy.
sense.
Or his mom was Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
Yes, mother.
Grandma?
And then I went and saw Twisters.
Yeah.
Growing up in the
How
90s.
was that?
Growing up in the 90s, Twister was one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much it defines your childhood too when it's like a movie you owned,
Yeah.
your family owned. Because I don't know about you, but like my family, we had some movies, but I would say that I don't know that we owned more than 20 VHSs. It might
My dad was a collector, so we owned quite a bit more. We had you remember my parents' house, we had a big wall-mounted VHS case. So
maybe it's different for you. But for me, there was just like a few of those movies, good or bad, that you watched a lot because you owned them.
Yeah.
And Twisters, it was a good one that we owned that I loved. So Twisters, it was good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. They took there was some references to the original. There's one actor I saw in an interview that he's claiming that he's the only actor that was in both movies because he was in his mother's womb, and his mother was in the movie.
That's
so,
crazy.
The first movie. So, I enjoyed it a lot. I'd recommend it, especially if you dug the old movie Twister back in the day.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job of it.
Is it a legacy sequel or
No.
not related at all?
No, not really related at all. That you see Dorothy, the device, but like it's things like that. There's just like I would almost say like Bondish. Like I don't even think it's like a reboot because they're not trying to tell the same story. It's a different objective. There's different characters. It's a completely different, and it's modern day, but there is some like things they threw in there to like tribute the original movie, which is kind of cool.
Gotcha.
So it's really weird. It's hard to define. It's not a remake. It's not a reboot. It's not a legacy reboot. It's not a sequel. It's just it is what it is.
It's just in the same universe.
Yeah,
Different story.
exactly, which is kind of cool.
All right.
And then I watched Freaky Friday, the Linda.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I was thinking Linda from
with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and I don't know why, but I was just like, I think it was on the TV when I was getting my haircut at one point, and I was like, I didn't realize Jamie Lee Curtis was in this movie.
Yeah.
And I fucking love Jamie. So
Yeah.
I threw that on. I've never seen it before. I grew up watching Parent Trap and Freaky Friday, the originals. My mom loved those. So I grew up watching those, not a ton, but I'd seen them both of those a couple times. So I was like, I'll go watch it just for Jamie. And yeah, that was an interesting watch. Definitely one you probably would have never suspected me to watch.
No, that is the next thing you're going to tell me is that you watched 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore or some shit like that.
Me?
That's what I'm saying. Freaky Friday's right up that alley, sir.
If it wasn't for Jamie, I wouldn't have watched.
Yeah.
But Jamie's awesome. And she did a great job.
So does that mean that you're going to go see Borderlands with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Her playing like a teenager, she did a great. You could tell she was just loving it. Too.
Oh, she was just having fun.
She was having so much fun.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. And then of course Deadpool Wolverine. I've seen it twice now. So
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that in the main
Absolutely.
topic. So
we got two people in the chat here. I'll read them both. My wife says she's been watching Criminal Minds. Oh, some Olympic events. Yeah, we turned on some Olympics this morning.
Criminal Minds. I watched a good chunk of that show. Well, I can't say a good chunk. I watched like 6 or 7 seasons. I don't know.
There's 17 now.
Yeah, as I'll say, I guess a good chunk would be assuming
they're
an awful
currently
lot.
airing 17. I should.
I think
say.
I just got to the point when the main guy left, when they fired the main guy, and then Joe Montana, Fat Tony, took over as the lead guy. I think I got just into that period, and I don't think I lost interest. I think it's just more other shit happened, and I kind of lost track of it. But
I've been catching episodes here and there with her when she has it on while I'm playing my game.
Have you watched the Mark Hamill episode?
No. There's a Mark Hamill episode?
There is.
I have to watch that one.
And, of course, he's the serial killer. So
Of course he is.
It's
Spoiler alert.
It's wonderful.
Reading. She started reading The Girl Who Loves Tom Gordon. She wanted a shorter book, so I suggested that one.
I still need to read that one.
It's a good one. Playing the same games, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Supermarket Simulator, and A Little to the Left. And then Max is joining us, and he says he hasn't been playing anything but watching Criminal Minds. Great minds think alike, apparently. Daredevil, he's doing an MCU rewatch, reading The Tommy Knockers. Oh, I'm so sorry. And restarted the Dark Tower series. He's currently on the drawing of the 3.
I need to read Tommy Knockers. It's just because of how much you hate on it, dude.
So bad.
I got to check it out.
I might be remembering it wrong because I was 18 when I read it, and I haven't reread it, but still, just the memory of it the book dragged so much for me.
Yeah. So let's jump on over to the news. The first one, I already kind of alluded to it before the podcast started. It is San Diego Comic-Con happening right now. So yeah, as we speak right now, someone is on the stage talking about whatever the fuck they're talking about.
Oh boy.
For the most part, a lot of the discussions that we're probably going to come out of San Diego Comic-Con are going to be for next episode, because it's like prep-wise, I don't think I had a lot of time for stuff that was announced yesterday to have gotten into. There is a few things that fell into this episode that were actually announced at Comic-Con, but the main event for most people
is
for Comic-Con is probably about an hour after, or maybe even a half hour after we end this episode. It's around, I think, 7 o'clock.
We're gonna wrap a little bit early today for you, just so you can get ready for it.
My problem is it's very mixed whether Marvel's going to be streaming it or not. So if they're not, that's going to be a bummer. But if they are, of course, once
you'll be there.
Once you're out, I'll get me some food and I'll sit down and start watching it.
There we
go.
go.
That is the big panel. Again, a half hour after we end this episode. Do check out their YouTube channel. If they are streaming, it'll be there. I know in the past, like if there's any like crazy footage, it will black out and it won't show it to you. But they'll have like the panel, because like if you got Feige on stage, maybe announcing directors for the next Avengers or titles for the next Avenger, the next one, because we know it's Secret Wars, but Avengers 5 still kind of a question mark.
It's up in the air.
There's some other stuff that I wonder if we're going to get announced tonight. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, keep an eye on that, and we will cover it all next episode in a fortnight from now. Next up, reason that James Gunn's Superman is not present at San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
So they're not there now. So James Gunn's partner in crime, Peter Safran, was asked why Gunn would not be at San Diego hyping the film and maybe even showing off footage. And he said, quote, "From my perspective, it's just too soon. A year is truly a long time for a campaign. So from our perspective, I think we just go stronger and harder in a shorter period of time rather than stretching it out. That's our instinct on it." And I agree. Like, unless you're talking like a generational Force Awakens type thing, you're not doing publicity a year before the movie comes out. So
we've seen movies that have done that and they fizzle.
Yeah, or I mean, they're ones that like benefit. I remember it was Black Friday 2014 was that first teaser for The Force Awakens. Not even the full teaser, but like the one that showed BB-8 and there was a couple images. Like, I remember that being a big deal, but it's like, oh my God, that's a year and a month from the movie coming out. I remember being blown away by that. But it's just, I think it's rare because, I mean, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a 6-month thing. Like, imagine what that would cost them to stretch it out.
Exactly.
And he goes on and says, James hasn't even wrapped yet. I think when you put your first foot you want to put your first foot forward for us for our first theatrical live action experience. There's a lot of expectations on that. We really have to make sure that we're delivering every step of the way, but certainly with our first time out, so we opted not to be there. So that's the end of his quote. The other thing I wanted to point out, interestingly enough, the way that it fell, they're not at this year's Comic-Con because it's too soon, but it will be coming out before next year's Comic-Con. No, it'll be out already. We'll have been out almost a month by the time San Diego rolls around next year.
This is really good for me right here because I've just kind of been tuning out most of the DC stuff because I know Gunn's working on starting fresh and everything like that, building something new. The Batman is staying, but it's not his Batman. Is basically what we've heard. So Batman being my favorite superhero, it's like, okay, great, I got the Batman coming out, but not until October of 2026. So it's like I got time to wait for that. You
got like a month and a half until Penguin comes out.
I also have Batman coming out in August on Prime.
Cape Crusader's coming out, so I got Batman to hold me over and everything like that. Batman Cape Crusader.
Yeah, Batman the Cape Crusader. But no, it just kind of it's never been real for me, like the Gunn stuff and everything, and I didn't even click like that Superman was going to be his first live action project.
It's the launch of the Gunn universe.
Of the Gunn universe. That's what we're going to call it from now on. The Gunn universe.
They're calling it the DCU.
We're calling it the Gunn universe. That's DCEU and DCU. That's too fucking confusing. The Gunn universe. I like that, Tad. Put a trademark sticker on it.
You cut that E out and just say DCU. It just works.
DCU, MCU, DCU.
Yeah, DC Cinematic Universe, which I guess that wouldn't work. DC. DC Universe. I guess maybe
DC Universe.
Yeah. So that actually does
Detective Comics Universe.
That does get us into the next one. The Penguin creators confirm officially now that it is 100% a bridge to Batman 2, because everyone knows that it's a follow-up to the Batman, but there's been some debate whether it's just kind of a standalone, like, hey, we loved what Colin did, it is going to just follow up the last movie, but there's been kind of an unanswered question of, does it have any connection to the next movie?
Yeah, the trailer kind of made it look like almost like a little bit like a prequel. Like we find out the rise of Penguin and then maybe a little bit of what he does after the events of the Batman. So maybe not exactly like a bridge to 2, but it's like, okay, here's how he solidifies his hold as the Penguin.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, we don't want that in the Batman 2. We want new villains. We want a new villain or new villains, depending on what we get. And so you don't want the Penguin to be like the center focus. He was already in a movie, kind of thing. So great, give him a little mini series and let him do that there. But rewatch the trailer, man. It looks like it's like prequel stuff, like how he becomes the Penguin kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
showrunner Lauren LaFranc said, we are the bridge between the two films. We're going almost directly into the second film that Matt has planned. Then producer Dylan Clark said there's another television exploration that we're going to do. We're going to look at this entire world and how it relates to who Batman is, the antagonists around them, all the crime that has to be navigated in the city, and trying to figure out where are the areas that are best to explore. So this is apart from all the quotes now, but I do want to point out, I think we may have already covered it, but Arkham Asylum and Gotham PD have been canceled.
Yes.
So those
we covered that last episode.
Yeah, so those aren't happening, but it does sound like what Dylan is saying here. There
is another TV project.
Something else in the works. So
Okay.
we'll have to keep an eye out of what that might be. But yeah,
maybe something gets announced in San Diego.
Yes, indeed. Next up, we got some Alien Romulus odds and ends.
Dude.
First of all, on screen,
The popcorn bucket. I saw this.
yeah, we got a xenomorph popcorn bucket. So we have images of this. It's on screen. So the novelty popcorn bucket that Cinemark has. Regal has one that's very similar, but that one, the xenomorph's mouth is open. That's the big difference I could see with it. But the head opens on the top, and then it fills it with popcorn. I'm kind of digging it for the most part. Like,
you wanted to put it on your shelf, don't you?
You know, just in general, I like the idea because it's like I hope that like theaters are the ones making most of the money from this. Because like I don't know, like theaters kind of get screwed on tickets, so anywhere they find a way to like make some extra money, like good on them, man. And
I don't know. Gouging me for popcorn still feels wrong.
it's what they got to do, man.
I know.
Also, we have a couple. This is kind of odds and ends because there's a couple other things here. So, film star Isabel Mercade said about the movie. She says, "I really do believe that there is a specific sequence in this film that will scar some kids that sneak into the movie.
Yes,
it'll scar them for life."
You're all about that,
Oh,
aren't you?
dude, yes. And also makes me happy when children sneak into horror movies.
This is for you, Tad.
Just hook it to my veins!
Indeed.
Not only the movie, but the kids getting scarred as well.
Yes, indeed. So our co-star David Johnson added with a laugh, "You can definitely say goodbye to 12A," which I think is the British like PG-13 equivalent. He says the halfway house with Fide, which is Fide Alvarez, the director, is not just his style. If you're going to try to scar people, then or scare people, then you're going to just scare them. The film's lead, Kaylee Spawney, goes on to say he doesn't know how to not put that spin on it. That is just his instinct. He's waiting to do something strange and twisted, and you know he's got it when you're right on the edge of going, should we really be doing this? That's when you know, okay, Fide's in his sweet spot.
Oh, boy.
So director Fide Alvarez has said that shooting the chestburster scene required 9 puppeteers to effectively pull it off.
Oh, wow.
And said, quote, "It is done almost like a nature documentary. While we were seeing it on set, we were joking like the creature is coming out slow. It's looking for the scent of its mother. The creature is not trying to be scary. The creature is trying to get the fuck out of this cocoon that happens to be a person. It's almost like this is more realistic in a way, but without betraying the beautiful thing of the original design." So I have to say, I've been pretty excited for this in general.
Yeah.
But I think I've been like a 6 or so out of 10.
Really?
It's Aliens. I'm there. Like I've always loved this franchise or whatever. First trailer, whatever. But this last trailer that we saw,
Red Band trailer,
with Deadpool, like I'm fucking doing an 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like this movie looks fucking incredible.
Can I sit next to Hayden for this one?
I mean, I always sit next to him on one side.
I know you
so.
got one side. Can I call the other side?
I mean, I was gonna throw it out just to make sure we're all going.
I'm going.
After you guys left, I told Caden's super into Aliens too, so I knew he'd be down. And Hayden said that he's like, I have no choice.
Yeah.
So it's good that he accepts that.
It's true that he's accepted his fate.
It is, but I wanted to make sure with you guys that you guys were down.
Yeah, we do want to see
it. That's pretty awesome. Can't wait for it. Looks really fun. Next up, new Romero zombie movie is coming.
Yeah, the one that Postmortem, right?
Not Twilight of the Dead.
What?
So the daughter of God George A. Romero, named Tina Romero, is following in her father's footsteps and directing a zombie film titled Queen of the Dead.
Ooh.
So I'm pretty excited by this. The film is said to pay tribute to the zombies from the elder Romero's classic zombie films with a fresh, contemporary, and queer twist, promising to offer a genre-smashing glam gore thrill ride through the zombie apocalypse.
All right.
The story follows an eclectic group of drag queens and club kids and frenemies who must put aside their personal dramas and use their unique skills to combat the brain-thirsty undead when the zombie apocalypse breaks out during their drag show in Brooklyn. Tina Romero said in a statement, "This is the cast of my wildest dreams and a movie about survival you got to love and root for the survival crew. Every single person in this ensemble brings a special and specific flavor both on and off screen. The result is going to be truly magical sauce." So yeah, that's coming, as well as Twilight of the Dead, which is the one that George Romero wrote the treatment for before he passed away. They've hired writers to write that out. I think they've got a director I forget who. But that's all coming. But yeah, now it sounds like Tina is picking up where her daddy left off and doing some zombie shit. So that's pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Next up, we've got more insight into Skeleton Crew, the new Star Wars project coming out at the end of the year with Jude Law. And then a bunch of the kids. It's been called like Goonies and Star Wars. So Lee Isaac Chung is one of the directors of Skeleton Crew, and he also directed Twisters. So in the publicity for Twisters, he's been asked about the upcoming Star Wars project. He's one of the directors. This is a show, so there's multiple directors.
Yeah.
The main driver and shaker to the show is John Watts. Very well known for the Spider-Man trilogy, the last Spider-Man trilogy. And Lee Isaac Chung said it's got a lot of John Watts in it, and anyone who's a fan of John Watts, what John Watts does, he's very childlike in a beautiful way, and in the way he tells stories and how he captures childlike perspective in things. He brings that beautiful perspective to the story of young people in the Star Wars universe. He says, I feel like I hadn't seen this. When I read all the scripts and I was looking at the design and what was in the design, he asked if I'd like to be on board, and it was a no-brainer for me once I saw what he was working on. And then also working with him on that show, and then with Jude and all the incredible actors we have, it was a lot of fun. We were just having fun all the time. The kids were incredible and great. He says, what I hope is that it's really going to touch families, and families are going to want to spend a lot of time with the show. So that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Goonies and Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's peanut butter and chocolate, right?
yeah.
Next up, we got Ashley Eckstein, original Ahsoka Tano.
Goddess.
What's that?
Goddess.
Yes, she's awesome. She is dreamcasting herself in live-action Star Wars. So Ashley was asked who she'd want to play in Star Wars live action, and she said, and I do love Rosario Dawson, but I am still slightly heartbroken that Ashley didn't play Ahsoka.
Yeah.
In live action, because she is Ahsoka, for God's sake, at this point. And she says, I feel like I wouldn't be I feel like I wouldn't be a Star Wars fan without thinking about this, so I would have to preface this answer by saying that I leave this to Dave Filoni. I've always left story ideas to Dave, so I'm prefacing this by saying I'm speaking as a fan, but of course I would love to appear in live action in some way. My background is actually in live action, so I think it's really funny when some fans in the community comment and say, oh, well, she's just a voice actress. No, the majority of my career has actually been on stage or on camera, so of course I would love to appear in the live action in any way. She says, but it's funny, Rosario Dawson was essentially fan cast as Ahsoka, and it worked. So I'll throw my fan idea, and I don't know if it would work, but I think it's a cool connection. I'd love to appear as the daughter from the Mortis.
Oh,
trilogy.
Yeah.
She says there's a connection with Ahsoka. The daughter gave up her life for Ahsoka, so I think that could be really cool in some ways. But I also want to preface this by saying whatever cool idea I have, Dave Filoni has a cooler idea.
Absolutely.
And it does seem like from the end of Ahsoka that we might be getting into some Mortis stuff.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I really hope that Dave's got something for Ashley somewhere.
That would be really cool.
And the daughter would be
perfect.
That would be chef's kiss for sure. So,
absolutely.
that's pretty awesome. So next up, we got our first batch of castings for Poker Face Season 2. Have you watched this yet?
No.
You need to get on this. This is Ryan Johnson's show. It's the, forget her name, but she played the disco chick in Detroit Rock City. Mm-hmm. She's the main actor in it, and she's basically she's kind of almost got like, it's not supernatural, but she could just sense when people are lying. And she just gets into like almost like a PI hijinks, and it's a really good show. Knowing Ryan Johnson, there's some actors that you'd probably like that are in it. The first season's really cool. I think you'd dig it. But season 2 is going into development, and because she kind of travels, she's running from people in her past, so it's kind of like almost like Reacher type thing where she's just always moving around, staying off like people's radar. So it opens it up to like what cities does she end up in, and there's new actors and different stories that she has to solve mysteries and stuff. So these are the ones that have been cast for this new season. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Katie Holmes.
Okay.
Which I have written down as Batman Begins and Phone Booth. I know she's obviously done a lot of stuff, but
yeah.
I usually try to cater it to myself and you for the most part. But Gabby Hoffman, which is from Field of Dreams and Uncle Buck. She's been in a lot of stuff otherwise, but we would know her from that. And then
I've never seen Field of Dreams.
Really?
Yeah. It's one that just never been able to watch it.
Yeah. And then Camille Nanjiani, which is from Eternals and Kenobi.
Okay.
So that's what they have cast so far. It's good stuff though. I don't know. It's and she does a great job. I hope that she can kind of get a bigger career out of this show down the road, because she does an incredible job in it. So that's a lot of fun. Next up, out of the fucking nowhere, there is a 24 movie apparently in development.
Yeah, I saw
with
this.
Fox,
Kiefer Sutherland's even involved.
dude, it's been, I don't even know how long since that show wrapped. I mean, because it ended at one point, then it came back for a couple seasons where they did like abridged ones where they only did like 12 to 14 episodes. It still took place over a 24-hour period, but it wasn't actually 24 episodes, so it wasn't real time anymore. But it feels like that was damn near a decade ago.
2014, July 14th, 2014,
Yeah,
almost
so
to the day.
It's been a while, so it's pretty crazy. So it's weird, but at the same time, you know me, sir.
Just hook it to
Yeah,
my
you're there.
veins!
You love 24.
Yeah, Jack Bauer and Chloe is some of my favorite pair of spy type people.
Yeah.
Next up, in the what the fuck is this all about? Glenn Powell, obviously from Top Gun, Twisters. He's kind of the hot item in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's going to be starring in a remake of Backdraft.
All right.
Did you ever watch Backdraft back
I
in the day?
did.
Okay, that's an underrated one. I don't think I've watched it in 20 years. But like,
Good movie.
Yeah, I grew up watching it. As a younger kid, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro, Kurt Russell.
Oh, what's the kid's name?
Donald Sutherland, which recently passed away. There's a lot of really cool people.
It's a younger. He plays the younger kid.
I don't remember. It's been a long time, but
Scott Glenn's in it.
yeah, Scott Glenn, because he's like the pyro, which is always weird after you watch Silence of the Lambs, because he's like this buttoned up FBI agent, and then suddenly he's this like fucking pyromaniac motherfucker.
William Baldwin. That's who it is.
Oh yeah, the Baldwin. That's right.
One
that's
of the
right.
Baldwins.
So, Glenn Powell, of course, seemingly he's. I think the fight's going to come down to he or Giancarlo Esposito, who's in everything. Giancarlo obviously has a head start, but it seems like Glenn Powell is like in every fucking thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I've actually heard. We covered it where he was talking about if he ever wanted to do a Batman movie, because there's somebody else everyone keeps dreamcasting, and I'm forgetting who it was. It's not him, and it's not Reacher guy.
Alan Richardson.
There's someone else that people have been throwing around on the internet. I wish I would have written it down so I could remember, but of course I forgot. But
Richardson.
Yeah. Next up, this is another not a surprise really, but apparently The Boys has another spinoff coming out.
Oh, really?
So it was actually announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's titled Vought Rising, and it's a prequel series starring Soldier Boy and Stormfront. So it says, quote, it's a twisted murder mystery about the origins of Vought in the 1950s, the early exploits of Soldier Boy, and the diabolical maneuvers of the soups known to the fans of Stormfront.
Oh, shit. Are we getting Jensen Ackles back then?
Who then goes on to name by the name Clara Vought. We cannot wait to blow your minds and trouble your souls with the Salacious Grizzlies, Saga, Drenched Blood, and Compound V. Yes, indeed, he is back. Here's my problem, though. I have no problem with the actor. I did not really care for Stormfront or Soldier Boy.
Oh, no?
They were fine. Like, whatever. But it's like, there's two aspects. Two that just, I prefer, like, the boys, and it just felt like, with some of those, like, extra people that came in, I just felt like, man, just give me freaking Homelander, man.
Give me more of Frenchie and
yeah,
Mother's
like,
Milk.
and all these other,
And, what is it?
A-Train, I mean, just...
what's the girl's name with the boys? The one who doesn't talk.
Kamiko?
Kamiko.
Yeah.
I have a show that my daughter watches that starts with a K stuck in my head.
Oh.
So
But
I'm like...
Here's the other question that is kind of like weirds me out a bit. Soldier Boy and Stormfront have both been shown to be either racist or Nazi.
Yeah.
How are you going to lead a show with two people like that? I mean, I know The Boys is like not a wholesome show, but it's like... I feel like both those characters have been put in a spot where it's
where's your good guy?
like if this would have been like before they showed up in The Boys, and then like maybe over the course of the show we got it revealed to us, but like we kind of know that both of these are like some fucking. I mean, she was like tied in with high end
like
Nazi,
an actual Nazi.
Yeah, so it's like, and then him,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's the 1950s, so maybe you could just play it off as like that was society, but it's
that's what it was at the time.
I don't know. I haven't watched Gen V, but I'll have to wait and see on this one. But like, it's just weird to me because it's like, really, Soldier Boy and Stormfront, like,
yeah.
But I guess if you're going back in time, that's kind of what you have to do, right? Like, there's nothing else you can. I mean, I guess there's probably going to be other people around them, but like Black Noir wasn't even Black Noir at that point, right? Because
he wasn't on the team.
Well, but he's around. right? Yeah, because Soldier Boy is the one that ended up fucking him up and causing him to where he can't talk and stuff.
Oh.
So, so it's interesting. Obviously the Boys has been raking in the dough for Amazon, so not a surprise to see it spreading. So going on, next up we have rumor, moving to the Marvel realm. Sean Levy apparently, the rumor has his pick of whatever Marvel movie he wants to do next.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, this is actually even before the box office though for Deadpool.
Yeah, they knew what was going to happen.
They knew it would be big, but they probably also enjoy working with them. It reminds me of Doctor Strange, where Feige was like, it was just nice to have I just blanked.
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi's like, this dude's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Like I could just give him the movie, walk away.
Go do that. I'm going to go take care of this brush fire over here.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have to worry. It's fucking Sam Raimi. Like the modern superheroes were born through his movies for the most. I mean, you can argue Blade came before, and then X-Men technically came a couple years before, but it's like Spider-Man was the fucking smash hit that like I feel like opened the can that of worms that started all. So I kind of wonder if Sean Levy's the same, where after working with them, they're like, I know I can trust you. Like just whatever. So that's my wonder. So the rumor is he was offered Avengers 5, but there's no definitive whether he turned it down or whatever. But so in a half hour after we end the show, I wonder if
maybe we'll get an announcement.
Someone is revealed for Avengers 5. I wonder if it might be Sean Levy. But there is also rumors back and forth whether he did or didn't turn it down or take it as the director. But yeah, we'll see. If Levy, in fact, turned down Avengers 5, the rumor is, though, that he does have a pick of whatever he wants. Levy said, quote, "This is the first time I'm coming into a franchise that existed before I created it." I think he's kind of talking about Deadpool. But whatever anxieties I had working for the Marvel machine were unfounded. I've had as much creative freedom and empowerment on this movie as any that I've ever made. So
good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see. So he's pretty happy with what's going on as well. So next up we've got Giancarlo
again
being a troll a little bit, saying that no one has guessed who his character is correctly
for Falcon.
For
Captain
Marvel,
America 4.
I guess for Marvel in general.
we got to be specific because we just talked about him getting cast for other things and being in other things. So he's in everything.
Yeah,
we're talking about Captain America.
But they've also said that he's going to be in a movie, then they'll have a series afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's like Marvel wise, like he's probably
someone.
something bigger. So he says, quote, the character, and this was at a convention not too long, like I think last week. He says, the character I'm playing is a badass. That always excites me. For me to develop the character in line with the character's inception is fascinating art for me. I have an incredible time shooting it. I'm not telling you who I'm playing. People are trying to guess, and no one has guessed correctly yet. So that would make everyone assume that G.W. Bridge is not, in fact, his character. I mean, there's been some other speculation, but that was the big one after the trailer. So I don't know. I'm flummoxed as to who he might be playing now. I'm also starting to be suspicious. Is he even a comic book character? Or is he going to be a whole new created character? That
could be.
I don't know. We'll see. Next up, we've got a rumor that the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer is going to be one and done. So Garner's Shia LaBeouf version of Silver Surfer is reportedly not going to appear beyond the Fantastic Four movie. Obviously, we've had confirmation now that this film actually takes place in another universe from ours. And so if this is true, there is a potential that maybe the classic Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad, may actually appear in the 616, because he's a pretty big character that goes beyond Galactus. So, if this rumor is true and she's a one and done, people are wondering if then when we move into our 616 that we'll see the classic, what everyone expects, Silver Surfer, or wonder if he'll show up. So this one I actually debated on whether I was going to cover or not, because it seems like maybe it was denied by Feige, but the wording on it makes me think it's not denied. The rumor was the Russo brothers are in talks to return for Avengers 5 and 6.
Okay.
So this is about a week or so ago. The Russo brothers, it was pretty widely reported, including things like Variety and stuff. All rumor, not confirmed, but that they were in late stage talks to direct the next two Avengers movies, which would be obviously a huge fucking return because they did the two most successful comic book movies of all time. Then Feige was asked about it, and he says, no, I can't comment on it except to say that it was somebody else a couple weeks ago, and I look forward to see who it's going to be next week, kind of making fun of the internet a bit. And then Feige says, we'll see. only thing I'm going to point out,
He never said no.
there is no denial there.
There is no denial.
So
He's just saying that's who it was last week.
Yeah, he's kind of like, it feels to me like a smoke screen, where it's like, because I think the question asked him was probably, hey, can you comment? Are the Russos back? And he's like, no, I can't comment on it except to say that it was somebody else a couple weeks ago. I look forward to seeing who it's going to be next week when the next.
He never said no.
But he never says no. So again, my big suspicion for Hall H in a half hour after we end this show
is the Russo brothers.
I do wonder if they're going to come on stage to be announced as the directors for Avengers 5 and Secret Wars. So that's the reason I ended up finally, because like all the headlines are like, Feige denies the Russos are involved. And then I went and read the quotes. I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. I guess we won't cover that in the show.
You're like,
then I went and read the
wait.
quote. I'm like, where is he denying it? there's
There's
no denial there. Plus the Russos, they're known liars. When they're like, everyone's like, oh, the next movie's going to be called Endgame. And they're like, no, the title of the next Avengers was not uttered in Infinity War. And of course Endgame was. And it's like, so I mean, it's showmanship, man. You got to lie. So I wonder if Feige's lying here. That's why I wanted to report on it here. So next one is an interesting one here. Feige says that Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine shows that Tony Stark can return.
Yeah.
So Feige was asked about Robert Downey Jr. and Evans returning to their big roles as Captain America and Iron Man. He says that's the key, right? How do you do it in a way that maintains what's come before in a great in a great way? We've been spending the last 2+ years figuring that out for Wolverine. So what's to come? We'll see. We're just proud that I think we figured it out for Wolverine. I think that Hugh's appearance and starring role in Deadpool Wolverine is a great sign that it can be done if great care is taken.
Yeah.
So, and I actually thought that in the theaters watching it, as I was like, you're talking one of the most famous and loved comic book movies with Logan. To step beyond that, like, are you telling me that Endgame's ending was any any more special than Logan was?
Yeah.
To where it's like, oh, we can't trounce on it. We can't bring Tony Stark back. I don't buy it, man. So it's cool to see Feige kind of talking that same lingo.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there is a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. is in fact returning as Tony Stark. But there's a twist to this rumor.
Okay.
So I will say this comes from a guy that has actually in the past proven reliable, especially reliable. I mean, of course, it's not 100% with any of these leakers or these reporters that get leaks. But I will say he's pretty reliable considering the fact that Marvel is known to be leaking bullshit out there to pollute the waters. So we'll talk more about that pollution later on. But the rumor is reported that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be returning as a variant of Tony Stark, but that this variant will not be totally good, and the variant will eventually transform into Doctor Doom.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine Robert
Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? Ooh, that would be interesting.
Like a variant that was maybe more. I think it would be kind of tough to be like a variant to Tony Stark that turned into. Because Victor Von Doom's a pretty established character. It'd be kind of weird to make it Tony Stark, but like Robert Downey Jr. playing the role to me is.
Yeah. What if it's just Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Doom?
That is hard to say no to.
Yeah.
Because then you really would not even be touching. I mean, even if he came back as a Tony Stark variant that became Doom, like. That's not coming close to touching 616 Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like this would be a complete kind of like the Wolverine, which we'll be talking about. The main topic is like that's not the same Wolverine that we saw it for 23 years in Fox movies, right?
Yeah,
that was a different guy, different character, different variant with vastly different things going on in his life and stuff. So, and I kind of wonder if that's the same kind of thing that could happen there. So next up, Feige has said officially there is no immediate plans for Eternals 2. Feige says there are no immediate plans for Eternals 2. There are, and I think you've seen maybe in a trailer we've released recently, an acknowledgement of some of those events, certainly giant things coming out of the ocean, which there's our confirmation. That Captain
America Brave New World does have the Eternals hand.
Has the Eternal in it, yep.
Yeah.
But ultimately, so that was his quote. Ultimately, the other thing I want to point out, though, is a lot of haters may try to point to this and say, oh, Eternal sucked, it's good, it's not going to get a sequel. I would question I don't think this is a thing about quality. I think this has to do with Bob Iger that says Marvel needs to draw it back a bit. We got to quit putting out as many movies because you're watering it down.
Yeah.
And I think that when you draw back, you're going to lose some of these like non-main story, like Eternals. Eternals was kind of one of those experimental, whatevers. And it's like, you can do that when you can release 5 movies a year. But if Iger tells you, hey, you can't release more than 2 or 3 movies a year from now on, like, you're going to have to.
Okay, am I going to do Eternals 2 or am I going to do Avengers 5?
Exactly. So I kind of wonder, and all the haters are going to throw it on and like, oh, well, see, Eternals suck. They gave up on it. But my suspicion is this has more to do with Iger, and I don't even talk ill what Iger's saying, because like there is an element of like if there's too much of something out there, it's less special. So, but I loved Eternals personally, so that's kind of a bummer. And they've drawn back the Disney Plus stuff, so I won't even imagine that we'll see a lot of follow up on TV. So
Yeah.
we'll see on that. But next up, Feige was asked about who we might see in Avengers 5, kind of in the same vein about, once Eternals, whatever, people started asking, like, who in Phase 4 are we going to see in the future Avengers movies or not? And he was basically asked if they're not in the next Avengers, are we ever going to see some of these characters again? And he says, I rarely speak in absolutes like that. He says the notion of never ever seeing somebody again, and he says, we've got Tim Blake Nelson in a movie coming up next year, right? So I never talk in absolutes like that, because of course Tim Blake Nelson was in the first Hulk movie, or in the Incredible Hulk, the only Hulk movie in the MCU. Like, he was in that movie, The Scientist, and it's like, here we are, how many fucking years later, and he's showing back up in this Captain America movie.
Yeah,
so
what is that, like 2009, 2010?
Yeah, I think it's 2009 is what sounds right, because 2008 was Iron Man. So 2009 to now, that's a long...
The Incredible Hulk was 2008.
Was it the same year as... Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2009... Yeah, that's true, because 2009 was another... So there's 2 movies the first year, 1 movie... Yeah. And he says, but the truth is, we're just going to tell a story in these Avengers movies, and there won't be room for 100,000 characters in it, so choices will have to be made, that's for sure. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to ever see someone again. And I think it was just... This comes down to a bad question, where they were trying to, like, pin him down with, like, what he's saying, and it's just like... Just even if they're not in the Avengers movie, doesn't mean we're not going to ever see them again. Next up, Feige talks Spider-Man 4 and MCU X-Men. So, of course, because of the publicity for Deadpool and Wolverine, he's out on the press tour.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of Feige stuff. Feige on Spider-Man 4 says, Amy Pascal and I are working on it. We have writers who are going to be delivering us a draft relatively soon. On the X-Men, he says, it's that phrase we use often in Marvel, which is it's an embarrassment of riches. And there are a lot of great X-Men characters in the Deadpool and Wolverine film. There are a lot of great X-Men characters in all of the Fox versions of the X-Men films. And there are a lot of great X-Men characters that have never been seen on the big screen before. He says, so I think what we're always trying to do, as we did when we made the arrangement with Sony for Spider-Man, you'll probably see a mix of characters you've seen before and some characters you've never seen before. He says, I also think the success of X-Men 97 was really exciting for us to see people revisit and reconnect with that world. And dare I say, the soap opera element of that world, which is one of the things that's so exciting for us jumping into it finally in the MCU. So, I've got to imagine that the X-Men side is pretty exciting, because X-Men 97 was such a hit.
Yeah,
So,
it was great.
yeah, I loved it. Next up, we've got Feige has confirmed that there is a Nova series in the works. So he says, quote, it's happening, it's coming together. Richard Rider, yep. Then when he was asked whether this would be in the movie or a show format, he said a show. As for when the project is slated, it's actually and when it'll actually hit small screens, there's still some time on that front. As Feige said, it's 3 or 4 years out. Nova was in the early draft of Infinity War, and he is obviously tied to Nova Corps, so he was actually in early talks or early ideas for Guardians 1. But so far, he has remained untapped in the Marvel Universe. He's a big character in the comics, especially in the cosmic realm. So seeing him out of the MCU eventually would be kind of cool, but it sounds like that's finally coming. And then just a brief little thing. He has access to the Nova Force and has superhuman abilities, including enhanced strength, flight, and resistance to injuries. Then we got yesterday, I think it was, Pedro Pascal posted the first cast image of the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
We got the four together. And he posted on Instagram with the title saying "Our First Mission." There's a second picture I didn't grab, but it was basically the Matt Shakman, the director, and it was just like your average filmmaker, hat on, leaning next to a ladder, like just.
Yeah.
I don't think people care as much about him as they do the cast, so I wanted to share that picture. So that's pretty awesome. And then next up, we've got Feige saying that Blade has to be R-rated.
I mean, duh.
Feige's, and he says, for the last few years, and as we've been trying to crack that movie, the most important thing for us is not rushing it and making sure that we're making the right Blade movie. He says there are some great Blade movies years ago. They were all R-rated, so I think that's inherent, like Deadpool, inherently with the character Blade. It says it's also part of the process. When you have a character as famous as Blade and an actor as famous as Mahershala, everything that happens just gets a lot of attention. I'm sure you've heard us talk about where we were struggling to find the perfect reason for Deadpool to exist for a third Deadpool movie in the MCU, and then Hugh Jackman called and it kind of fell into place. He says sometimes you need that a magic thing like that to happen to fall in place, and sometimes it happens. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 10 years. But what you really should be waiting for, it's something you should really be waiting for until you make something. So I think they're ultimately still waiting for Blade to get cracked. But it's cool because there's been a lot of speculation about is it going to be R-rated? I mean, everyone's kind of wondered, is Deadpool one-off? Because you're already built in with a multi-hundred million dollar box office return. Is that the only reason they convinced the mouse to allow them to do an R-rated film? And is Disney going to allow it in the future? And it sounds like yes. So,
yeah.
Because I don't think old Feige would be saying that shit if there was any doubt. So the next one is a little bit different than what we normally do. I have a little bit of a video.
Oh, okay.
This was at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if it's come up on screen yet, but this is one of those good old new-fashioned drone shows, and it is the World Eater Galactus raising up, and then we got a circle coming across the sky, which of course gets filled with the Fantastic Four logo, and then it says Saturday Hall H, which is what we're going to be seeing here in about a half hour after we end the show. So pretty excited for that. That's pretty fucking awesome to see Galactus on a large scale like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm happy when it's a drone show. I don't really want to see Galactus showing up in the sky.
I thought you would. You love bad guys. That's what you live for.
If I can get off the planet first, then I'm okay with it. But beyond that,
you would
no.
be his Silver Surfer. What are you talking about?
He is pretty awesome. All right, but yeah, that's it for the news. I know there's a lot of Marvel stuff. Like I said, a lot of the Comic-Con stuff, though, I have a feeling it'll be next episode before we can really dive in and cover some of that stuff. So, main topic-wise, though, that is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. So I will say pretty much up front that this will be spoiler
obviously
filled. I know the reason I want to point that out, though, is because it's only been out a couple days.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. If it's not something, if you haven't seen it yet, this may not be the episode for you to watch.
Come back and listen, watch the episode when you've seen it.
Yeah, but we've been hyping this movie for pretty much the entire time this show has existed. And we've been as excited as possible. I mean, it's been a regular staple in the news for the last number of months as well. So this is my episode, and I figured, like, we're going to be a couple days removed from seeing it. I don't see how there's any way we're going to be able to do a main topic that's not this, because yeah. So there's a couple news topics that I wanted to cover in the main topic because they're very Deadpool and Wolverine related. First one, back in episode 27, we reported a rumor that the title of the Deadpool of the movie is going to be Deadpool and Friend, and the trailer came out a few days later, and the title was obviously Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, it turns out the rumors are fucking true. It was called Deadpool and Friend. Ryan Reynolds said in some of the press interviews, he said the title leaked, and we looked at it and listened to the fans, and they fucking hated the title. We were not feeling good about it, about the title anymore. He says it went with the trailer that we were showing. It was perfect title for the first piece of material that we had out there. Director Sean Levy, he and I had been sitting in the editing room. We called everybody at Disney and Marvel and said we have to change the title. We wouldn't take no for an answer. Reynolds recalled. We were like, we're changing the title. I will never call this movie Deadpool and Friend, and they did. They literally changed the title, and this is like 24 hours before the trailer released.
Damn.
So when we reported that rumor, it was fucking true that Deadpool and Friend was the title of the goddamn movie. Because I remember a few days later, the trailer came out, and I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, all the rumors were pretty, like, because there's some rumors where it's just like, maybe. But there's other rumors where it's like, this is what it's being called. And like with trailers, you have to send them into the ratings board to get rated and shit. So it's like there's ample opportunities for leaks. But obviously in the digital era, they were able to swap that title card out.
Yeah.
And, whatever. So I don't know. Not that it's my rumor, but it just makes me, because I remember being like, wow, The rumors were wrong. So pretty cool. Also, we talked about Marvel polluting everything out with fake rumors. I don't think I reported a lot of these. I didn't really want to. I don't even know why. I think we cover a lot of rumors on here, but for some reason with this movie, I was just like, I'm not going to cover a lot of them. I don't know how many of you saw living on the internet, but so here's all the rumors over the course of like the last 6 months to a year and I've seen most of these, of people that were going to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
And some of this, you're going to see the pollution that Marvel is leaking shit out there. Because they've admitted now that like, oh yeah, we released a lot of shit out there just to throw everyone off.
Yeah.
So Halle Berry as Storm was rumored. Famke Jensen as Jean Grey was rumored. Ben Affleck as Daredevil was indeed rumored. Patrick Stewart as Professor X was the last fucking episode that rumor came out that he was in the movie. So that was like not even like a long time ago. So even like then when the movie was panning out, I was like, okay, Patrick Stewart's going to show up. Maybe that'll be the thing that changes Cassandra's heart on things and stuff. And then it didn't happen. I was like, whoa. Because didn't it feel like Charles could show up at some point and just like kind of, just out of nowhere and just kind of like whatever. Ian McKellen as Magneto was rumored. James Marsden as Cyclops. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic was a rumor. Henry Cavill as Wolverine. Chris Evans as Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Brian Cox as William Stryker.
Yeah.
His return. Owen Wilson as Morbius, which everyone bought pretty heavily because we knew that the time variant.
Yeah, TVA was involved.
Yeah. Louis Tan as Shatterstar. Channing Tatum as Gambit. Taron Egerton as Wolverine. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. Tara Strong as Miss Minutes, which again would make sense with the TVA. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Also would have made a lot of sense with the plot. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom. Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. I remember seeing that one too. And then Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. So that is all the rumors over the course of the last year or so that I've seen, most of those. And those are all the rumors. And it sounds like Marvel was just like fucking with people.
Some of those turned out to be true.
Some of them did, yeah. But like, I wonder if any of the true ones were Marvel or not, or if those are ones that just legitimately got out. And it's like the Michael Scott episode where he leaked Stanley's affair because he wanted to be in on the gossip.
Yeah, something like that.
And then it turned out that was true. So then he started like just making up absolute fucking horse shit.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't
to try and cover
Did
it.
he expose Pam being pregnant too? Because that was like legit.
Dude, I don't remember much of The Office anymore. I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I think he did. Because I think like then, because he's like, I just got to make up a bunch of shit to like smoke screen.
Yeah.
And I think he ends up doing like Pam's pregnant and she was, and they were hiding it. So
yeah,
like it's great stuff. But yeah, Marvel, they're fiendish, man. And I'm never gonna put anything past them. After like the deceptive trailers they did for like Infinity War and
you got
Endgame.
Infinity War where the whole big group's running through the jungle. That never even came close to happening. Like the Hulk was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Hulk doesn't show up except for the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. So Max says he did expose Pam. So yeah, I'm remembering that right. So yeah, it's just so I'm never going to trust Marvel. And that's usually applied to trailers. But now that's like they're basically using the rumor mill to
hide things.
I'm like, at the same time, like I don't want to say I don't want to cover the rumors because I still find it fun, but it does make you think where it's this like grain of salt that you have to add to all the rumors. Now it's like a much bigger grain of salt because Marvel might be bamboozling us. So Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman want Deadpool and Wolverine to team up with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I did hear this.
So Reynolds said Deadpool is part of Deadpool is, and then he's ... Part of his storyline is he wants to matter. He so badly wants to be an Avenger or part of a team, and he just can't quite get there. Wolverine is everything I wish I was. He's a legend. He matters. He saves people. He's done hero stuff. If I could pick one, I'd love to play with Spider-Man. And then Jackman went on to say, that would be cool. I agree. He's so cool. He's young, and we could pile on him and abuse him.
I can just imagine Tom Holland with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. And then Reynolds jokingly agreed, saying, you can hit him as hard as you want. He'll get right back up. So, and that's true. He could take a punch.
Yeah, he can.
So Feige confirms Wolverine will be replaced by another actor. Feige was asked if Jackman would be replaced with a new actor, and he said yes. He says, Marvel is celebrating its 85th year later this summer. He said that's the first 85 years, and Disney just celebrated its 100th year as well. I think these characters will be around for another 100 years, long after all of us are gone. So for sure, there will be eventually another actor playing Wolverine. I think it's just it'll just be in a different style and in a very different way. So he is caging the answer in of course.
Of course, eventually there'll be a new Wolverine.
But it's like, I still believe, because I don't know, where Hugh Jackman's at. The Spider-Man thing makes me think that maybe he's not completely closed the door. But, I don't think he's signing up for another 15 years of MCU movies, So, I don't know. We'll see. But it's interesting. And Feige is a fucking master when it comes to, manipulated shit like that.
Well, I mean, just like the quote that we talked about earlier, he didn't say no.
Exactly.
He is a master.
He is. He's learned for a long time. And then the last one I've got before we dive in fully, Reynolds wanted to sneak Deadpool and Wolverine into a fake movie that was intentionally bad. So he revealed this on Hot Ones. I don't know if you've ever watched Hot Ones on YouTube.
Yeah.
So he said he wanted to sneak it into an intentionally bad fake movie titled Alpha Cop. Alpha Cop would have acted as a smokescreen for Deadpool and Wolverine, and it would have followed two cops who shared the same brain. Its slogan would have been Alpha Cop, two cops, one brain, all balls. Early in the film, it would have been revealed as a gag before playing Deadpool and Wolverine in its entirety. Oh my God. And I think I don't know, I heard somewhere else, and it isn't in this quote or this next quote, but it sounds like it almost may have come a week early. Or it would have. So it's and then he said, Reynolds says, 10 people in America would have gone to see this Alpha on opening weekend. If you managed to get the right down to the last minute and then the reveal get blown, it would have been heartbreaking. So that's ultimately what ended up stopping him. Is it's in the internet age, even if it got worked to the point where you got it out into fucking theaters, the first person that sees it and tweets
oh my God, this is Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's going to be a fucking cast. Which it would have been funny though. I love shenanigans like that when it comes to movie stuff. Moving on. The only other thing I want to mention, and it's kind of Deadpool related, is I did want to mention the Captain America 4 trailer. I went and saw Deadpool again last night.
Yeah.
So I've seen it twice now. I watched very closely. They have indeed edited out Isaiah Bradley shooting at the president.
Yeah.
Since the Trump assassination attempt.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's actually, when I was watching really close, it actually seemed like more was missing than I thought. It felt like may have just been a couple of frames, but now as I was watching, I'm like, there's
a reaction to him getting shot at by a couple people that is gone.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, I get it.
Did you go check online to see if the trailer's different?
I have not. But
I'm gonna pull it up real fast while we get started and take a look at that.
It's definitely interesting though. But yeah, we're gonna dive on into it now. In its entirety, talking about the movie again. We're gonna be talking spoilers here. We're just gonna I got some questions and stuff, but ultimately this is just gonna be geeking out for the sake of it. Because again, we've been hyped for this movie for a long time.
It is not taken out.
I kind of figured it wouldn't. I think it'd be kind of hard because I think if you try to do it online, then it turns into a thing where people feel it's like censorship, and that people have downloaded it, so it's then gonna get on the piracy websites. It's the Streisand effect. You're never gonna get rid of it. So I just think it was maybe more for mass consumption, because it's wild. There was some reactions in both of the screenings I've been to where it was that was in the trailer. Not even the TV spots that reveal way too much, but there was parts of the trailer that people were gasping audibly out, where I was oh, I guess you don't watch any trailers. And with Captain America, I mean, there were some reactions in the theater to the trailer there where I'm dude, I've watched this trailer 25 times. I can't get enough of it.
Well, I do know that some people reacted to the Red Hulk, but we talked about that last time.
People that turned it off.
People turned it off before and still didn't go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, it's wild, dude, because it's Marvel's been doing that for ages. They always have that money shot after the title card. Not every trailer does, so I get why people are turning it off. But Marvel has done a very good job about there's always something.
Yeah.
There's always that money shot at the end after the fucking title card. So I remember almost wanting to click out, but I'm no, it's Marvel. Keep watching.
Gotta let it go. Gotta let it finish.
All right. So my first question, and if anyone in the chat, I think Max and your wife as well, favorite moment.
Favorite moment?
The whole movie. What's your
Lord? I
know it's a big question.
I'm gonna give you a few because there's so many. My wife says in the chat, the movie. Just the whole movie.
Max is too many.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's a tough question, but it's just,
gotta say,
there's got to be those moments that stick in your mind of like, oh my fucking god, we just saw that.
Max says, I'm gonna fight you now.
Oh, dude,
in the Honda Odyssey,
that was the best fight in the movie, in my opinion.
the fight in the car.
The Odyssey fight. Yeah, dude, it feels like it should be ridiculous, and I'm not saying it's my favorite moment, but I'm saying fight wise because there's a lot of good fights in the movie. That was the best one, dude. It was fucking incredible. Like, it was choreographed amazingly, and like it seems like it should just be like kind of a joke because it's in a fucking van. But like that fight went fucking hard, dude.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think it's the second best fight. I think the first fight is the best one in the entire film. Dude, using Logan's corpse to fuck people up, to fuck the TVA agents up with the title card while dancing the dance to NSYNC. Thank you very much.
Oh, I don't know the fucking
How dare you?
difference, dude.
How dare you, sir?
How am I supposed to know the fucking difference? They're the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're the same.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Ted. You're gonna get us canceled.
They're the same.
Don't say that. Next thing you're gonna do is badmouth Taylor Swift on here and have the Swifties after us. Like, don't do it. I think that fight was better, funner, and more gruesome than that fight in the van. I like the fight in the van. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's 1 and 1A. But I think that title card with the dance and everything, it was better.
And it's fine. Like, there's definitely, it's all subjective. But for me, that van one, and I think like it was just so unexpected too.
Yeah.
And dude, the fucking lines before that led to that.
Oh, the acting was amazing.
Is that the first person that's ever truly silenced Deadpool?
Yeah.
Like fucking destroyed him.
They taped his mouth. They covered his mouth in the first one.
There's no such thing as that.
No, in the first one.
In the X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No, in the first movie, they cover his mouth and they make it so that he can't talk, and then they take the gag out, and he's like, "You have something in your teeth."
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they do.
That doesn't count.
They gag him in the first one.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. He shut him up.
They don't take his mouth off like the X-Men.
He verbally knocked the fucking voice out of Deadpool with that, and it was brutal.
He shut him the fuck up, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I got two off the top of my head for favorite.
I will say in both cases of those fights too, the music was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Which one was it again?
Bye Bye by NSYNC.
Okay, NSYNC, and then the Grease song.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just because it's
choices.
Like neither of those should work with like ultra violent like.
Yes.
But his dancing was pretty great in the first.
Oh yeah,
one.
that's Ryan Reynolds to a T right there. I have to ask you, the soundtrack was released a couple days before.
Yeah.
Did you hear in your second rewatch? I meant to text you and ask you.
Greatest Showman?
The Greatest Showman. Where is it?
I heard it in the first one. It's in the Odyssey fight. When he hits his head on the
Is that
stereo,
what-
it
just a little
plays for a quick second.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Because I think, I don't know why. I mean...
My wife and I were driving home and we're like, wait, it said that The Greatest Showman was on the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a da-da-da-da-da. You hear like...
Bam!
And then he hits him again and it changes the song. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I caught that in the first screening, but the second one I was like listening closer because I'm like, how much of the song do you actually hear? I'm like, I remember hearing that opening thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that split second, which makes sense. Like, which I don't know, it doesn't make sense. They should have had more of it.
They should have had the whole fight to that.
Did you see
honestly.
The Greatest Showman Deadpool in the final thing? There's
a Greatest Showman
he has,
Deadpool?
like the showman thing, the top hat. Like,
oh, that's what the top hat guy was.
Yeah,
okay.
he's definitely Greatest Showman Deadpool. So.
My two moments, I got to circle back. My two moments I would probably say that come to mind instantly are
and we're gonna hold you this for the rest of your life too.
I know.
So go ahead.
I just spaced on what the second one is, so I'm just gonna say the first one.
So that's all I asked for anyway. It's good.
It's the fourth wall break in the TVA where he's like, "Can you excuse me for 1 second?" Walks over, grabs the camera. Fox, go fuck yourself. I'm going to Disney World. Bam! Headbutts the camera. Oh my god! I've been thinking about that moment. It's so fucking funny.
That's what I was gonna.
Oh my god!
That's what I was gonna tell you. Is like it really comes down to like what moments have you thought about?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I think that's how you really suss out like what are the ones I really like. So, that was pretty great. Max says when he says he's gonna say it, and then he hears Flame on and goes what? And he's like, because he also talks along with it first too. He's like Avengers. He's Flame on. It's like wait what?
What? Yeah.
I totally saw that coming though.
You did.
I'm not trying to like brag, but it's just I'm like it makes total sense, and it's probably because of the trailer showing the 20th century thing. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're gonna prune all the Fox stuff, so it's
so
like
I have a question
versus
about
Captain
that.
America. It wouldn't make as much sense, but like, you do actually caps first shield in the wasteland. In that first area
his
lands.
show shield.
The one from like the World War II.
The war bond stripes.
Like the shield shaped shield,
Uh-huh.
not the round one. You see that.
That he uses for like the war bonds, not the actual fighting.
Yes.
I have a question about the pruning and everything. Like you just said it. It's the Fox universe that's been pruned, right? Kind of thing. Why the fuck is there a giant Ant-Man carcass then?
I mean,
like think about it.
Yeah.
Do we have a single MCU character in the Void there at all, or is it all Fox?
There's some. You see Armin Zola's car from Captain America is one of the caravan.
Okay.
That big ass fucking like fancy looking car that they drive when they're trying to chase the plane. Red Skull. Like
okay.
People probably associate it more with Red Skull, but it's Armin
the one
Zola's
that
car.
Tom Lee Jones is driving, and he goes, "I'm not gonna kiss you."
Yeah, exactly. That car is one of the cars they're driving.
Okay.
I'm also going to admit I did not recognize Pyro until they said his name the first time.
Yeah.
The
No.
actor does not look anything
Did
like
not
he did.
look
Man.
like the kid that he was in X2.
Until fucking Matthew McFadden. What was his name again? The TVA guy. What was his
Proxy? No.
last night? I
It
was
starts with a P. Phantom.
last night.
Paradox.
Paradox. Yeah. When he calls him Pyro, I was like, oh my god! And it's when he's on the phone with him and he shows him
Yeah.
again. I'm like, squinted a bit. I'm like, oh my god, that is him.
That is Pyro.
But it's like that's 20 something years ago, so I'm
Yeah.
not holding it against him. But
I mean,
I didn't.
I realized it was him when he sucked in the fire.
And I didn't even
So-
then, because I was like, that could be. There's a number of mutants that like can take
Yeah.
people's power or like even
Absorb
like
it and stuff.
absorption and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but then the second time, I'm like, this makes total sense now that I understand that that's fucking Pyro. Like, that's the dumbest thing you could do is try to attack him with fire.
It just kind of.
Paradox. Thanks, Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that name just will not stick in my fucking head, and it totally works with like Morbius and some of these
Yeah.
other names, but it just won't stick
It's
in my
just
head.
kind of interesting that there's an Ant-Man corpse in the Void. You know.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even talk about any other Marvel Cinematic characters being there. Magneto, Charles, all the different variants of them, and everything.
I think it's variance is the key is that you've got variants that can end up there, right? It's not like that's not the main.
I guess in Loki we saw that Loki's ended up in the Void.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention. Did you catch the Wanda statue
No.
in the building with the team? It's one of the first shots you see. It's the Wanda Scarlet Witch statue with her fucking headgear on and shit
From
like,
WandaVision.
Yeah, like I think it is that where you see like the statue, or was it in Doctor Strange with like the statue with she has like the headdress on and shit. It's one of the first shots you see when he's like sleeping, then he wakes up, Thor or whatever.
Oh.
Like above him is a fucking Wanda statue.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
No, I didn't catch it.
I was wondering if you guys caught that. Your wife too, because obviously she's a big Wanda fan.
That's her favorite.
I think I kind of missed it, but I barely caught it the first time, but not enough to like. I'm like, I don't know if I saw what I saw. So the second time I was like, I don't care about Deadpool. I'm watching the top of the screen. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Wanda. So yeah. So you do see the Wanda statue. So there's some MCU stuff involved. I would just say Fox would be heavier there because most of their shit has been pruned, right?
Yeah.
Versus like MCU, it's going to be like, what multiverse? And I think that's where it gets weird is like, because like Loki ended up there, right? But it's like, that was like in universe, whereas like Deadpool, you're now dealing with also like meta, like Fox doesn't exist anymore, so all their shit got pruned. It's like, but you got to try to think of it inside universe where it's just like those universes just whatever. Like it's weird. That's where it's like, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed because it's like meta versus like real universe, and it's like how to keep it straight. So I think it was probably just there for the Paul Rudd joke.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking to my wife on the way home after we left you guys at the theater. Is I said, well, remember that may not actually be that Ant-Man. That could be Hank Pym, or that could be Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Bill is his name, I think, the character.
Yeah.
Him and Ant-Man were comparing how big they got, and she goes, yeah, my wife made a very good point, though. She said, yeah, but Deadpool made the joke about Paul Rudd, so it's got to be a Paul Rudd because he's aware of those kinds of things. So I'm like, that's true.
Everyone's been hitting up the divorce jokes, which I guess I missed. The Deadpool one, or I'm not Deadpool. Daredevil, when she says to Elektra, "Oh, Daredevil's dead." Oh, I'm sorry, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
because she was married to
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. And then I'm missing. I think I caught it the second time, but now I've already forgotten where they make a rip about Wolverine getting a divorce. Like
Yeah.
the Hugh Jackman getting a divorce.
Yeah.
But yeah. Biggest shocker,
Dude, seeing Blade.
Blade.
Wesley Snipes, man.
And
I thought the motherfucker's career was over.
Yeah, I
You
thought,
know?
I thought he was in prison
Yeah.
because he had like some tax evasion shit.
Yeah,
a
I
couple
thought
years ago.
you don't fuck with the IRS. Even the Joker doesn't mess with them.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing Wesley Snipes walk into the fucking safe haven area.
Yeah.
Dude, I totally thought it was going to be Daredevil.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
yeah,
And then to see Wesley Snipes, dude, my jaw hit the floor.
yeah. And it's funny because I don't know why, but I completely spaced that. Like that was one of your movies back in the day.
It
So,
was. I'm not going to lie. It overshadowed Gambit.
Yeah,
It overshadowed Gambit entirely. The fact that fucking Blade was in this movie.
yeah. That one shocked me too. Like Elektra. I mean, I remember hearing some rumors about that, so I kind of wondered if I guess I'm not gonna say I expected it, but I wasn't as shocked.
Yeah.
But Blade, like I was, because again, I was like, I thought he was in prison.
Yeah.
I just-
Holy shit. Did
Like,
he
yeah,
did he get like a 48-hour pass to come out or
Yeah,
something? Like,
I thought the IRS nailed him for tax evasion. He was still in prison or something. But and then of course Gambit was big. But I mean, there was a lot of shockers. I'm trying to think. Like for me,
my wife says biggest shocker was seeing Chris Evans for me. I'm not big on rumors, so I don't take them in. But that was crazy to me. And when he was Johnny Storm, that was even more so.
yeah,
Because, like, dude, I should have seen it coming.
yeah,
Absolutely. Like, afterwards when we were talking about it and you explained how you knew, I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I did not even think that is Captain America.
Yeah.
That is Captain America. That's him. He's been him for how long?
yeah.
So it's like that's what my thought was. Deadpool was going right with it and everything,
Yeah.
and he's meta. So
And then they tip the hand because he like drops some profanity.
yeah,
And Deadpool even gives him like a look where it's like, wait, and then like so I was like, oh yeah, that's Johnny Storm.
yeah, all of that doesn't matter. It's
It was
Captain
it was
America.
brilliantly done.
Yeah.
It was so well like written, filmed. Like it was.
That's the other one, dude. I will say the end credit scene. where
Max
he-
says the same thing. Didn't see it coming.
Yeah, when Deadpool goes back and is like, everyone's saying that I got Johnny Storm killed because he didn't say those things. Let's go to the tape and everything like, and then he's like, got him, motherfucker, and closes the TVA thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I about fucking died. If I didn't have to pee so bad, I probably would have sat there laughing for 5 minutes.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. For me, for shocker wise, I think for me, I was just so like not even expecting, but I was just like, this movie is going to be so fucking off the chain that I think I just let my brain go to the point where it's like, I don't think you could shock me. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to expect everything. Like, again, I think I mentioned to you guys outside the theaters is like, I genuinely expected a very quick throwaway Robert Downey Jr. scene. Like, whether it was like, as he's trying to walk Deadpool out of the office, Happy Hogan, like Tony walks by or they bump into each other and like he kind of gives him the brush where it's like, I don't have time for you. Something.
Yeah.
I just thought there was going to be something like, because it's just, if this movie just felt like Marvel knew this is going to be big, not even box office wise, but just culturally, that I was just like, they may throw everything at this movie. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. I was just, nothing can surprise
Oh,
me.
fuck.
And it's not a good thing. I was just in the realm of like, I don't know what I'm going to see here.
What was the Blake Lively jab at Deadpool? There was one point where they made a Blake Lively jab, and it made me laugh so hard. Because they're like,
Yeah, they mentioned Blake at one point for
Yeah.
sure. I forget where it's at, but
I don't remember what it is. If anyone in the chat remembers, that one got me. I need to see the movie again. Holy shit, I do.
But I'll just bridge that to talk about some of the cameos because Blake was in the movie.
She was Lady Deadpool.
Lady Deadpool, Cowboy Deadpool was Matthew McConaughey.
Was it really?
Yep. And second time, because I saw that out like somewhere, and I was like, oh whatever. Second time, I'm like, oh my god, how did I not fucking hear it?
You can hear
it's
it.
his fucking voice, man.
Yeah.
But I missed it. Headpool was Nathan Fillion.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
His fourth character in the MCU now?
And then Kid Pool and Baby Pool were both of Ryan and Blake's two of their kids.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, that's cool.
makes sense why they didn't brutally dismember one of the children.
Yeah.
Which I was hoping for. I was hoping for like Wolverine just to go after that baby and just shred him apart.
Yeah, that's what my wife just said in the chat. Kid Deadpool was Blake and Ryan's kid.
Yeah. So
Did you notice there was a Scottish Deadpool?
I noticed it in the second time through. I did. Yes.
Wearing a kilt?
Dude, there's so many. I think he had like a long sword and shit.
Oh, like a broadsword.
It's dude. There's so much in there, man. I want to like watch that like frame by frame almost because I just feel like both times I was like I saw new things and it was just like how many more times could I see this and probably see new things in there? There's just so much shit going on there that it's just like, oh my god. Nice pool.
Oh god.
Almost fucking killed me, dude.
I know, you were dying.
And I saw it coming, dude. When they started shooting him and he like hides behind him for one, it reminded me of Austin Powers 2.
Yeah.
When he's in the club and he uses that lady to take all the bullets. Why won't you die? It just reminded me of that. Dude, I missed a chunk there because I was laughing so hard I couldn't fucking breathe when he's like, regenerate? Dude, it's so good. He fucking brutalized him. And he's like, oh, there's a donut thing. I missed the donut thing.
Yeah, the donut thing. He's like, that always has like first aid supplies.
Yeah,
and
like a trauma kit.
And,
it's like,
and Logan's like, no,
that's not right.
That's not right.
Dude, I missed all that. I missed I can't feel I'm paralyzed. Because I was just
come on, man, help me out here. Move your feet. I can't. I think I'm paralyzed.
Yeah, it's like, why are you stopping? It's like, because I'm winded.
Dead weight.
Like, I missed it all, dude. I was laughing so fucking. And the thing was bad is nobody else hardly was laughing. Like me and Caden were laughing our asses off, but I was like, as I was like trying to listen, I'm like, nobody else is laughing, dude.
Yeah.
This is not good. But dude, it fucking killed. And he was just wonderful. Like that's not my style of character, but that was funny.
Oh yeah,
that was really funny. And he's like, "Where's your mask?" And he's
yeah, I'm too pretty.
And the dog.
Deadpool.
The dog pool.
Dog pool.
Dude. One of the most hideous dogs I've ever seen.
Fucking ugly.
But cute in its hideousness as well. And then, dude, Caden was like almost losing his lunch with the kissing.
The kissing, yeah.
Like,
him
pretty much getting the tongue in his mouth and shit. But yeah. That was pretty great. Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
I missed that the first time.
Wait. In the movie? Not in the after credit stuff?
No. Movie.
Where?
The bus. There's a Stanley steamer, but it's spelled Stan Lee.
Oh,
and it's his picture waving, and it says like S1922, established 1922, which I think is when he was born.
Oh,
so I don't know, because I remember as it was like panning across the bus, I looked down and like, oh, Stan, and then it kept going to like Lee. I'm like, Stan Lee, and then it said steamer. I'm like. And then it was his picture. So, yeah, it's like him. So,
okay.
That was pretty cool. But who's not watching the fucking bus?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was watching.
Scene. So, second time I was like, I don't even know why I looked down, but I did. I guess I will draw back to favorite moment for me is the mask. Wolverine masking up.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty fucking incredible, dude. That was.
How aerodynamic are those blowjob handles?
Lydia said the Deadpool talking while the dog is licking his face is so gross / funny. And that's where Caden was like,
oh yeah,
like he didn't like retch like Hayden can do quite often. But he was pretty.
Dude, we thought Hayden was gonna throw up.
He almost did for the Juggernaut legs.
Shortening is what I called it in our group text.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut shortening is what we're gonna
in that whole scene. I do feel like the reason they weren't doing a lot of camera work with some of those is because there was a lot of recasts.
Yeah.
Juggernaut wasn't Vinnie Jones. He turned him down. I just blanked.
Toad?
No, that was him. That was Ray Park.
That was Ray Park. Okay.
Tyler Mane was Sabretooth. Who's the chick with the purple?
I don't.
Is it
remember.
Psylocke?
Yeah, something like that.
There's a big actor that played her. And you see her, and I think she's the one that uses the fucking rope to like bring the girl down after she brings the helmet up. But they're very careful about how they show her. It's
Olivia Munn.
Yes, it's because Olivia Munn is not in the movie. Also, there was the big guy with the red and white striped shirt. Is that not the Russian from Punisher? The big goon.
Yeah. The Thomas Jane Punisher, right?
Yeah. Is that
the John
big
Travolta,
fucking Russian guy with the red and white striped shirts? There's a guy with the red and white striped shirt in there. You see Lady Deathstrike, but they don't really focus on her a whole lot. And I really think it just comes down to they couldn't get a lot of these actors back, so I think they were just trying their hardest to like kind of get you lost in the whole scene so that it wasn't, like Azuzel, he was obviously the right actor. Toad was, Tyler Mane was Sabretooth. Pyro is the right guy.
But he doesn't look anything like him, so.
The Blob is not. I don't think we've seen the Blob once before, but that was a different actor up in the cage thing that like screams that they're coming or whatever. Dude, Deadpool calling out Loki, season 1, episode 5.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking great. Oh, man. So I noticed the second time I was really trying to look around and see like who are all these, and there's some no name, just whatever, but there was a lot of people in there where it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah. And then I was like, I could tell though, they were like, oh, that's the wrong actor. That's probably why they're not like really letting the camera sit on them. And I think Juggernaut, if it wasn't for the helmet, I bet you they probably would have been as like skimping around him as they did everyone else, because it's like that's clearly not the same guy. But then they made a joke of it too. It's like, oh, you're this year's Juggernaut.
Yeah.
But here's my question: why didn't they just do the Juggernaut from Deadpool?
They could have, but he was just CG. So
yeah, but
they were kind of avoiding CG in this one a little bit with like the fights like that, like the big group fights.
Yeah.
There was some CG shots in, but look at the fights, like even like the first one that I loved, the opening credits scene fight. A lot of that was CG with what he was throwing and using. But the rest of it was practical fighting. It wasn't like a CG fight. Like Deadpool 2 specifically calls it out. Big CG fight. Colossus versus Juggernaut.
Yeah.
We didn't really have that in this one. They kind of steered clear of it. So I think that may be why they went for we need that Juggernaut. Also, did they establish that the Juggernaut in Deadpool 2 has the psychic abilities in the helmet?
No, that's the whole purpose of the helmet.
I know, but that doesn't mean that Juggernaut's helmet does that.
They mention it in 2.
Oh, do they? Okay.
I think he's talking to the kid, and he says something. It's like, oh, so your brother can't affect you if you got that helmet on. Like the kid, and I only know because I just rewatched 2 very recently. But you know what I'm thinking about now, though, is storytelling-wise, it's probably so you could see her face during that whole scene.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be able to see her face in that helmet.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
It wouldn't fit her at all.
Yeah, it's fitting's one thing, but I think you needed her acting to come through with that scene. And
so
that
you got to choose the 2 helmets. You got to choose the one that's open faced.
Yeah, you got to choose the Vinnie Jones helmet for sure. Let's see. And then so the Borderlands cameos, Johnny Storm. We already kind of talked about Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23. Gambit. I mean,
my boy on the big screen.
You're eating good as a Gambit fan this year.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 and now this. Dude, and all the jokes with him in terms of like, feels like I've always been here, because they never got that off the ground. I feel like I was born here, and it's like, oh, we never got an ending. He's like, oh, never feel like I didn't even have a story at all. Like, it's just, like all the there was multiple jokes about the fact that they never got that movie off the ground.
Yeah.
So that was pretty incredible.
I will say, I said this afterwards when we were standing around. The Blade reference to the current Blade movie in production, where Wesley Snipes riding in the Honda Odyssey is like, I'm the only Blade there ever will be, and then Deadpool just looks into the camera.
Yeah.
Dude, I felt like that one was so fucking funny to me.
I thought you were retired. Retarded. No. I said retired. What is that? We're in the void. I still don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gambit, I mean, I will say I wasn't super fond of the Channing Tatum. I don't think he had the right look for Gambit for me.
Dude, okay. I said this to my wife. His head is too big.
His head's too, his
head was too big.
And I know he's been the Dreamcast for like 15 fucking years.
He's too big.
I don't even think he was like a as big of an actor when when he was allegedly attached to that movie back in the day as he is now. But I was just like, and it worked. Yeah. But it was just like, it's kind of like Batman or something. You just got to have a certain shape to play the role.
He's too big.
I was like, yeah, he just looked a little bit wrong.
Gambit is a petite little man, kind of thing. Like, like smaller, slimmer, and well-toned.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an actor who he reminds me of, kind of like a McAvoy.
I think an Austin Butler.
Butler, yeah.
Or
who's the big guy in Twisters?
Timothy Chalamet, I think could pull off a Gambit. Glenn Campbell, or no,
Powell.
Glenn Powell. Glenn Campbell's like an old country singer. But yeah, and
he's too much of a beefcake.
They had to do it.
Yeah.
He was the perfect for this movie. I would have been mad if it had been anyone other than him.
Yeah.
Even though what I'm saying is I don't think he really jives at the role as much as he's been the name for fucking 15 years.
But if they're gonna do a proper Gambit with like the X-Men and everything like that, I would like to see someone like Austin Butler. You nailed it. That's who I would want to see.
Yeah. And what is it? What is your dialect coach? A minion? It's like I feel like we're losing good. What's the word? Exposition here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty great. 'Cause some good fight stuff with him and his powers too.
Yeah.
Like when he went and tagged all the people with the cards,
And then blew 'em
boom,
up.
and they all blow up. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The stick was cool to see.
His staff, yeah.
It's cool to see it in live action, I guess, even if like he doesn't physically fit the part as well. It was still really cool, and he did an incredible job.
He was great. I love that my wife had to ask me. She's like, okay, I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't really know Gambit. So, like, how did Channing do? And I went, and she goes, okay, that's all I need to know. I said, no, let me explain.
He did good, but I think it's a physical.
Let me explain. I think the big thing is that I think Channing Tatum was given the role to be Gambit because of everything, like you said, with the history.
Yeah. I think he had even signed originally when they were developing that.
Yeah,
movie.
they announced
like,
him as signing as for Gambit in a movie and everything.
Yeah,
and
then X-Men,
excited for it.
X-Men Origins kind of shit the bed.
Yeah,
and like a lot of stuff changed from there because
it was supposed to be like X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men Origins
Magneto.
Gambit, Magneto.
Yeah,
they had like 7 movies lined up for that.
Yeah,
and then Wolverine was, and so they're like, never mind.
Yeah,
but the thing I was saying to my wife is that I think the problem it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It was great because I think they purposely made Gambit kind of a cheesy character on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't make him a serious Gambit. It wasn't an actual casting of Gambit. This is what Gambit would be in a bad X-Men Origins movie.
And it's kind of what they did to my boy Colossus in the other Deadpool movies.
Yes.
Like Colossus is a legit fucking badass mutant and he's done some really cool shit. They made him kind of a joke.
Yeah, he was a sidekick.
But he was just so silly and just like and like I never took it personal as a Colossus fan.
No,
I'm
it's
like,
just
this,
what you're doing with the character.
Yeah, it's like this is a Deadpool movie. I'm not going to expect like a. But you know, you also know because you've been with me for most of the time. How long have I been waiting for Colossus to truly be used in an X-Men movie?
Since X-Men 2, when we saw that trailer where he up, you're like, oh my god, I'm getting Colossus. He literally punched one guy through the wall, and that's the only time.
And then
you
see the actor a couple times in some smaller scene, but it's like, and then
he's not even there in X-Men 3.
X-Men 3, you see him a tiny, but it's like I almost felt like, okay, introduce him in 2, 3, he'll be bigger, but then he wasn't there. I just feel like I've been like strung along for a while, and it's like that was Deadpool's the biggest exposure we've really had live action.
And
but
it's not what you thought.
Yeah,
what you would do with Colossus.
Yeah. Which it still worked. I kind of liked it because it is like, if you were gonna have like just the uber nerdy, straight laced X-Men,
have you eaten breakfast?
It would
most important meal of the day.
It should be Colossus. Like that makes total sense.
That role would not have gone with like you could have had other X-Men there. But you're not going to put Beast, Storm, or Jean Grey or Cyclops there.
You can't.
You got to have someone below them.
Yeah.
So you're starting to look at Rogue, Gambit, Colossus, or Morph, or someone like that. None of those other ones fit the I have an apprentice. He is going to come shadow me while I deal with this fire boy, kind of thing. No, Colossus fits that role.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Gambit in this. He was not made to be
serious.
This was a cheesy.
Like
I need a character that Deadpool can make fun of in this serious scene.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to make fun of Elektra or Blade.
No, you can't.
Because those are legacy characters.
Yeah.
You can't make fun of those.
No, and those are played 100% serious. So
exactly.
It was interesting the stuff that they almost didn't poke fun at. Same with X-23.
Yeah, they didn't poke fun at her.
No, which you can't. That's almost the same kind of realm of like you can't like step on what Logan did.
Yeah.
Same way you can't fucking make a joke out of her.
That's the real reason why I was like my wife was kind of expecting me to be upset with how I reacted when she asked me, but I'm not. I'm not at all upset with the choices they did with Gambit, and I thought they made like you already said it. They made his powers the fucking legit.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing you've always railed me about by liking Gambit. You're like, he's a weak ass fucking mutant, and I'm like, the dude can make things explode. Like, I don't understand how people think that he's a wuss or something like that. He can literally take a baseball, turn it into a fucking thermal-nuclear device, and throw it at you. Like, how is that weak? Like, baffles me how you say those things. About
Oh
him.
man,
You son of a bitch.
You knew it was him right away though. In terms of
No,
like, when,
I thought
when
it was
the card,
I thought it was Bullseye.
when the card was coming out.
No, I thought it was Bullseye.
I was-
Daredevil.
and not me, dude. The second the card, I was like, "This is fucking Gambit."
When it lit up, I went, oh, that's when I got
the
to
card
put
was
dude,
like coming out a little
Yeah.
out before he did. Right. I also noticed the second time how they shot that scene to where there was room for crowd response.
Yeah.
You know, like when they're all walking in, there's just like not a lot going on except for them walking in.
Yeah.
They all bring them in one at a time, and I think it's like it's made to knowing that people are gonna lose
Deadpool's
their
not
mind.
talking that much and
No,
everything.
No, great stuff though. X-23, I think is the only one we really haven't hit hard. I do think they did a good job with Elektra and Blade in terms of like, because they didn't really get their ending right. So and then like to give them the ending, I like that they didn't kill those characters off. But then X-23, I think the big thing, of course, is that fireside discussion with Wolverine was pretty incredible, and I think she did a.
I gotta point out, we talked about them getting their endings right, and then there's the moment where Deadpool and Wolverine are talking to the TVA about potentially saving Logan's world.
Yeah.
And talking about the people in the void and everything.
Yeah.
X-23 ends up at the
house.
party.
Yeah, I didn't see the others.
I did not see Elektra. I did not see Blade. I did not see Gambit. So it's like, okay, they
Yeah.
got their ending like they wanted, but she has regenerative powers, right? So
Yeah.
she theoretically could have survived the, what is it, Eliath or whatever?
Yeah.
Coming down and eating everyone. She could have survived that. So
But also, do you think that
is she done too?
do you think any of those guys would want to hang out with Deadpool?
No.
So, and is X-23 there except for Wolverine? Like,
No.
I don't think she's hanging out with Deadpool either, right?
No,
Like,
I think that's what I'm saying.
she's
Is,
there 'cause
are
of
we going to
Wolverine.
get another Wolverine and X-23 movie? Is kind of
oh,
my curiosity.
I don't
Is
know.
that why would they show her there? And so I do have one question
the
for
glasses though,
you. Oh, dude, so good.
that was incredible.
I do have one question for you. My only question is, did you have any issues with anything in the film?
Issues. I don't know. I don't think so.
I had one. That's why I wanted to ask.
Okay. What?
I did not like the choices made with his love interest, Vanessa.
Oh,
I did not thoroughly enjoy that. I'm going to support you when you have cancer and are dying, but you have a midlife crisis? Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, we're done. Like, it really didn't kind of make sense to me.
I liked it because I think it's not. I don't think it's like a midlife crisis. I think it's more of a fact of like she said, you took a knee and then you never stood back up. Like it comes a point when it's like self-destructive. Like if you love someone, you're not going to support them continuing that. You're going to try to do something to jolt them out of it. Like you need to wake up. You need to like quit.
Yeah,
just fucking.
It's just that they're ride or die. Your crazy matches my crazy and everything like that all through the first two movies, and then this happens and they're broken up. Like if they had been fighting and they were still together, I would have been perfectly fine with that. Like if they were close to breaking up and he's trying to save their relationship, I would have been perfectly fine with that. But at the birthday party at the beginning, we find out they've broken up and she's dating someone else.
I don't think she is.
You think that she was just making that up to hurt him?
Oh yeah. And,
okay.
And I don't think it's as much to hurt him as it is to like try to fucking inspire him. Like you need to. You're.
So that's what I'm confused by.
You're
Inspire him to do what? What? So he didn't get the approved for the Avengers, so he stopped being Deadpool, and she's mad about that. She's mad that he's not out there killing people.
I mean,
it's kind of confusing.
But
for
he's
me.
also. It's not like he's excelling. Like he's never sold anything, right? He's a shitty salesman. Like he's just sleepwalking. And it's just like you can't do that. And also there comes like with great power comes great responsibility aspect of like how much more bad is it?
Does she seem like she's pushing him to go back to being Deadpool? It seems like Peter is. Which, by the way, to hear 50 Deadpools chanting Peter, Peter, Peter was fucking amazing, by the way. But, Peter's the one that's pushing him to go be Deadpool. But is she pushing him to go be Deadpool?
I think that's where it's like she's being the supportive one of like, you don't have to be Deadpool, but you need to do something. You can't just keep floating into nothingness. Like I actually liked it, but I remember even in the first screening being like, I bet you people won't like this because like, but I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like motivation a bit to where like it's hard because this is a singular movie, but it's like it's part of a trilogy, and it's kind of like with every movie you have that like Dark Night of the Soul, that moment in the late second act where like the person's at their lowest, right? And it's almost like in a trilogy you're starting the movie here where he's at the lowest because you then need to see this third movie be him kind of come up from whatever he's at.
See, that's where I was saying to my wife, I'm like, I would have liked it better if they had left her locked behind Death's Veil where he can't get to her, and that's what he's trying to do here, and he's given up. And so he needs the motivation to get back to her and everything because they resolved that.
Because he saved her in the post-credits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have preferred if they had left her there.
Oh.
And then his whole thing in this one is that I can't get to her. I can't die. Fuck this. And then he has the motivation then to save his universe because the only way he gets back to her is if the universe continues to exist. But to have him save her and then to spiral out because the Avengers didn't fucking accept him. He doesn't need the fucking Avengers. He's fucking Deadpool. Like that. Yeah. That seemed kind of weird for me.
But I think that's why she did what she did is because it's like you're stronger than this, and like the Avengers thing shouldn't matter to you. Like you're better. Like I think that's where her vision comes from.
I would have liked that if she'd been encouraging him to be Deadpool, but she was just like, "Hey, you got to do something." What?
But I think that's
like that doesn't help. You know, like
I almost like that because again, I think it's almost more supportive because it's like if you choose that you don't want to be Deadpool, but you want to excel at something else, I'll support you in that. Whereas like Peter's just like you got to be Deadpool. Like for him, it's a singular thing. You're Deadpool or nothing. And I think she's almost more supportive of like you got to do something. Even if and she's not saying it, but it's ultimately implied of like even if it's not Deadpool, you got to do something, man. You can't just keep living in this like depressive.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is it just doesn't seem like it fits Deadpool for me. Is like I get where you're coming from, and you've changed my opinion about her and her actions. Like I support that. Like if your spouse is spiraling, you got to do something to jolt them out of that
and become someone different.
I don't think breaking up with them is the right choice.
If
you really love them and you're ride or die and your crazy matches my crazy and all the stuff from the first two movies, I don't think breaking up with them is the right choice.
But if that's what it'll take, though, right? Because the other thing, too, is he's also completely changed who he is. Like, who she fell in love with is not who he is at the beginning of the movie. He's not that guy anymore. He's a husk of what he was. So it's like that comes into the whole like late marriage like issues where it's like you're not the person I married. Like what is going on here? Like whether someone slides into like midlife crisis or depression or something, it turns into a thing where they're just a completely different person. It's like there comes a point, you know, and that's the other question. We don't know how long did she stick with him before it was just like you're not changing, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Just,
is
you're
like,
just
like
floating.
We didn't really get
nothingness.
like it fully explained why they broke up, except for that one scene where Cassandra is manipulating. So we don't even know like if all of that is true. We don't even see the real thing.
Yeah,
we just get his word, his side of it, and everything. Yeah. So did he do something to actually push her away? Because we don't get her side, we only get his side,
exactly.
And we know that in every kind of situation like this, there's
2 sides.
There's three sides.
Yeah.
There's his story, her story, and then the truth. I don't know. It was just kind of weird for me. Like
I figured
honestly they could have done absolutely nothing with Vanessa except have her there, and she just says like, "Go get him, Tiger," you know, slaps his ass and says, you know, like go get him, go save the universe, and I would have been perfectly fine with that. Yeah. She doesn't have to be the focus every single movie.
No, and I think the thing is I think it led to him having more of a motivation for the course of this movie. The fact that she was broken up with him because he was not doing anything. I think that gives him almost more motivation versus like I get he would want to be motivated to like save her and the rest of his friends and his world, but how much extra motivation is it that like I've lost her because I'm not doing anything, and now my entire fucking existence is going to get wiped away, including
I don't get a chance to fix it.
Yes, so I think even though it was kind of not fleshed out as much, but I'm okay with that because the movie was so full. I don't think you would have had room to do more.
And that's what I'm saying is like that's why I would have preferred just she's there, they're together, everything's fine. Go save the fucking universe.
The other thing I wonder is the writer strike happened.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, was there another pass on writing they would have done with this movie had the writer strike not been a thing?
It's possible.
And some of the rough edges would have been, or they would have fleshed her up. I don't know.
And again, this is a minor complaint for me. This is nothing to change my opinion of the movie. I just thought it was kind of interesting. We got 2 movies of them being
Yeah.
And then between movies, we get them broken up. It was kind of it really kind of jarred me a little bit in the first scene at the birthday party, the surprise party.
Yeah.
It's like when we find out, like, wait, he got fucking dumped by Vanessa? Like, what? It is Vanessa, right?
I don't know. All I can think of Vanessa is Kingpin. So maybe her name's Vanessa, but all I know is you've embarrassed me in front of Vanessa. Cavaline. Cavill's Wolverine.
Yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, that's right.
I have a note for that. That was pretty incredible. I mean, all of the Wolverine.
Yeah.
The montage of Wolverines was pretty incredible. But the Cavaline was probably one of my favorites.
That was so cool.
Also, I didn't notice till the second time, he does the fist cock.
Whoop.
That he does in Mission Impossible with his claws.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, when he puts his claws out, he does like
he loads up
the fist. Yeah,
that's so cool. I really do need to watch this movie.
What about the other ones? The short one was pretty fucking funny,
dude. Everyone who gets pissy whenever they talk about casting someone over 6 feet for Wolverine, there you go.
Yeah.
There's your short Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I fucking loved that. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
There were some pretty cool comic references. The old outfit with the more orange color was really cool to see. The eye patch one, the one being crucified, was a pretty famous comic book cover. With the skulls everywhere and stuff. The Hulk thing, I wish we would have seen him tear Wolverine in half, dude. Just give me that extra
tear
couple
Wolverine or Deadpool?
Wolverine.
Oh.
There's one where they're fighting and he just fucking rips Wolverine in half.
Jesus.
So, probably special effects budgets, though.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, they avoided a lot of special effects for fights. Like the fight between him and because him and Wolverine and Deadpool fight twice. I like that they were mostly, to me, they looked like they were mostly practical.
Yeah.
There's a couple shots like Deadpool with his sword towards the camera. That was obviously CGI.
Yeah.
But it still looked amazing.
Yeah.
But the rest of the fight seemed like it was stunts, you know?
Yeah. The Iron Man toy helmet in Happy's office.
Cap shield. Did you notice the little mobile thing from Iron Man 2?
No, there was a lot of references though. That you see the suitcase suit.
Yeah.
But
from Iron Man 2.
The helmet though. The second time I noticed something.
What?
Behind the helmet is the Tony and Peter picture, and the helmet's blocking Peter.
Oh.
Contractually, Sony. Yeah. So you could see Tony Stark in the picture.
So you know what the picture is, but you can't.
But
see.
the Iron Man helmet's blocking.
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So that was funny. That was
no the mobile thing in the second Iron Man where Tony comes into Pepper's office and it's on the desk in between them.
Oh yeah, I did actually.
That's behind.
See that.
That's behind Happy to the right.
I did see that behind. I forgot about it in Iron Man 2, but I saw it because I was like, oh, those are neat.
Yeah.
What about Cassandra Nova?
She was great.
Yeah, she did.
Like,
I've seen a number of people online.
Queen of the Void kind of thing.
Yeah. Seen a number of people online, though, that are like, well, I didn't know I had these feelings, but I've seen some people saying that now bald women are something that they're okay with, and other ones are like, can somebody do that to my head? That was grisly.
Oof.
It's like with Deadpool, it was one thing, but when it was Matthew McFadden's character, and you could see his full face, and when it goes under his eye and his eye pops out, dude, it's so fucking good, dude.
Paradox is his character's name.
Yeah. You haven't watched Succession. He's like massive in Succession. He's one of the cooler characters in Succession. Oh,
someone mentioned Succession in the chat.
Yeah.
I think it was Max.
Probably. He was great in Succession, though, so it was cool to see him in this. But, yeah, when she does that shit to his head, and then when she's just dragging his fucking lifeless body.
Oh, God.
Dude, it's so good, man.
The fact that we thought Deadpool and Wolverine were dead, and he's, like, trying to weasel his way out, and no one from the TVA saying anything.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool's, like, yells, and he goes, fuck!
Yeah.
I love that Peter and the lady from the TVA hit it off. Like, oh my God.
It was cool to see her, too.
Yeah, she was great.
She was awesome. And it does look like all the changes from Loki are in effect now. They don't prune anymore. Whatever.
Yeah,
there's some changes from Loki season 2 that looks like is now the TVA's whatever. She's high ranking, it looks like now, so that's pretty cool.
Max said, I thought it was funny that Matthew McFadden played Paradox, a middle manager who wants to matter, because that's exactly what he's like in Succession.
Yeah. It's true. It is true.
I do got to say before we close up, I love that me and my wife got these keychains. I only have mine with me. It's the it says
back it up.
Oh, back it up.
The light is, yeah,
Right there. Nah, it's too bright.
yeah. There's probably no
Yeah,
way
it's
that
like
you're gonna
a
see the color,
it's like
but yeah.
it's a Wolverine, and it says here down here it says friends, and then on my wife's side it's Deadpool's head, and it says best. So they go together and make the best friends. Dude, did you see the popcorn bucket that Regal had?
The baby one.
The baby one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we got a chance to tell you. We wanted to get one. We walked up, and the guy in front of us walked away with one, and we're like, hey, can we get one of those? And then he's like, yeah, that was literally the last one. My wife was heartbroken. She really wanted it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look around and see. I mean, we only have the one here, but they may get restocked if not.
Dude, they were – because you showed up right after us, right after we got out of the concession line. I'm not kidding. I saw 3 or 4 look like Door Dashers coming in to pick up stuff. And leaving.
I forgot they do that now.
They do DoorDash from the theater, so people
Yeah.
were just ordering the fucking popcorn bucket to go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's unreal, dude.
But yeah, I think Cassandra Nova was pretty awesome.
Oh, she was amazing.
You know, it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, it sucks that we're only here this one time.
I mean,
I will say the people that complain about that with Marvel, I kind of agree that outside of like Thanos, like there's been a lot of really great fucking villains with really great fucking actors that are like one
Killmonger is
and
the
done.
first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's just like it's one and done. It's like, dude, why, man? There's like some cool fucking characters. It'd be really cool to see him pop back up. I mean, I know Baron Zemo finally showed up in the Disney Plus stuff, but it's like he was a great one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, cool stuff. And Cassandra fits right in there. I really love the fact that Wolverine kind of pulled the X-Men thing to change her mind. At least to let them live and let them escape, right? As it came down to like basically embodying Charles's stuff, because it's like we all know through various things that Wolverine is usually one of the later ones to learn the true Charles Xavier philosophy, right? So for him to just be like, even if she's gonna kill us, I don't care. Take the fucking helmet off, like, you know, Charles. For Charles, I'm gonna save you.
Yeah,
and like that's why she helps them. Like it was cool. Like as a longtime X-Men fan, since I was a wee lad watching fucking Saturday morning cartoons. Like I love Wolverine. I love the X-Men. So to see him like embody that. And obviously his storyline, we haven't even really touched on heavily, but like his backstory for that Wolverine is pretty fucking
dark and
tragic. Yeah.
I will say I was wrong about the sling, the magic circle. What is it? What is he calls it? The Marvel circle.
It was the behind that was different in the trailers. You were thinking the inside was like.
Nope, it was just behind it.
So you got
white sand.
You got it backwards.
I got it bamboozled.
You got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled.
But I think it was great, and also, dude, fucking Hugh Jackman, acting wise, because he could have come and just phoned this in, dude.
He could have.
And
no,
but
didn't.
It's like this next to like,
dude, is this his second best performance?
As I'll say, yeah, Logan is number one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no touching that, but it's like this is probably number 2 for me because this really had a lot going with it.
Yeah.
I would also say Days of Futures Past is pretty high up there for me
really
too. One of my favorite scenes in the X-Men thing is when he comes back and like, you know, talks to Xavier. Like, oh, don't you have a class, Logan? And he's just come back from the time travel. He's like, what am I teaching? History. Well, you're gonna have to help me with that. It's like, what do you need to know? Everything from 1973 on. It's like, oh, you're back. Like, it's just, I'm getting chills thinking. It's just a cool fucking scene because I love when Wolverine finally embraces it all. Like
when he fits in.
He's a teacher. He's part of the team. Like I get why people like the outsider Logan Wolverine, but it's like
it's edgy.
And
but stuff like that.
When he's finally, because he does, he's the X-Men because he was part of the fucking team.
Is that one of the reasons why you liked X-Men '97 so much? Is because it wasn't focused on I'm going to be an outsider and I'm Bub, but I hate you all and everything like that.
2 reasons. 1, yes, he's part of the team, but 2, he also wasn't the fucking focus.
I know, it was someone else for once.
Dude, do you know what kind of balls it takes to do an X-Men thing where Wolverine is not the fucking focus?
I know.
Jesus
he's not even in the final fight.
It's nuts.
What?
It's nuts, dude. Like, that is like... that's like some of the biggest cherries I've ever seen on a fucking writer before.
Yeah.
So,
my wife says in the chat when Wolverine's shirt flies off and Deadpool looks at his chest. It was so funny. He just like leans back and he's just like, "Mama," and then oh god, he walks up without his shirt on, and all those people are just like,
yeah.
He's like, "Put your shirt on, fucker."
Oh man. So I mentioned Red Skull's car, the Fantastic car.
Yeah, the hover car
was one of the things in there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool as a Fantastic Four fan to see that. Also, I do have a note. Baby knife
baby knife.
made me laugh almost every time he did it. It was so funny.
Baby knife.
Because even in like some of the more intense scenes, like in the fucking Odyssey fight, like you hear if you're listening, because it's hard, it's easy to miss because there's a lot going on
Baby
and
knife.
noise, and then the Grease song. But there's one point, baby knife, you hear him say it in there.
Stabs him.
It's so funny, dude. And I love like the meta elements of like, you're looking embarrassed, like, and he pulls the shit out. He's like, people waiting 20 years for this.
Yeah, he like pulls out the
for the
swords and everything.
Saber-tooth
Fucking
fight.
decaps him, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Also, I love like the suit. It only took 24 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like, and I will say, dude, that suit. I mean, I know we've seen it in the trailers. I know we've seen set leaks a year ago from them filming on that outdoor set with the shit. But my God, to see it was
looks
just
so good.
like, why have we not had this?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's so. Recently, Feige actually said, because he was lower producer back in the day on the X-Men stuff. Have you heard the stories where like Bryan Singer's like, I don't want comic books on set. I just want people to read the script, do their own thing. I don't want the comics, whatever. And Feige was like smuggling them in for
was he
Hugh
really?
Jackman. Yeah. So there is that, but there's also, he recently said in an interview that like the X-Men costumes from X-Men 1, he says 100% it's the Matrix fault.
God damn it.
Because the Matrix had come
They made
out.
the
It was
black
one of the biggest
look
fucking
cool.
movies on the planet.
God damn
Changed
it.
the game for everything. And I don't think he meant like we would have had yellow and blue and like, but he's like, the look as it was is primarily because the
You
Matrix.
can absolutely see that they went with like the black suits after that. Like,
yes,
like
but,
absolutely.
But I also don't know if they had the balls to have actually gone full comic book accurate. So maybe God knows what alternate universe what it would have looked like had the Matrix not existed. Because I don't think it would have been like what we saw in this movie with that yellow suit.
We might have saw the brown Wolverine.
Maybe, yeah, something a little bit more muted. Like Scott's probably would have been like a really dark blue, where it's like almost black looking.
Not the bright blue.
No, exactly. So, also, I have to at least call out the Madonna.
Oh, dude,
stuff was fucking
you
incredible.
got two of us listening to the Madonna.
We talked about it after you guys left, talking outside the theater. I saw a thing with Ryan Reynolds where he's like, Madonna, you don't just license her music. He's like, she's pretty protective over a lot of her music. He says, but especially that song, he's like, we actually had to go meet her and pitch her on, can we use your music? Like, it's almost like Led Zeppelin level, where Led Zeppelin is very rare to ever license their shit.
Oh, okay.
And he says she's that way, especially with that song for some reason. He's like, so we actually, me and the producer, we went and we met Madonna. He's like, we met her at her house. We showed her the scene, which is, I didn't send it because I was like, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but he's like, we showed her the scene and she gave us the blessing for it. And she said she actually also gave us a note that we actually took and used. And so when I saw that, it was like the day before the movie came out. I'm like, okay, so it's probably in the movie then. Because when that soundtrack listing got released and it wasn't on there, I'm like, dude, if they use this song just for the fucking trailer, that's a damn travesty. Because it works so well in the trailer that I'm like, it needs to be in the movie. So the fact it was in the movie, I'm super happy, but it also makes sense. If she's protective over her shit, she probably said you could use it, but you're not going to put it on the soundtrack. People need to buy it from me or stream it from me, not, which I granted.
Okay.
Good for you. Do your thing, lady. You're awesome.
Make your money.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I'll say though, I want that fucking, like, I almost call it like the choir one that's at the very last scene, like when that song's playing, but it's not her version of the song. It's like a fucking choir of angels is singing it.
Yeah.
I need that fucking version of that song, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good. That song's catchy as fuck.
It's great.
That for that last fight was pretty incredible.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, this movie was absolutely
the self-sacrifice.
Yes.
The one part that made Caden jump.
Yeah.
Fire extinguisher to the face. Michael Myers has competition now.
Yeah.
Worst fire extinguisher to the head moment.
One that I skipped earlier. So now that we can officially ask it, where does the Deadpool trilogy rank?
Dude, fuck all y'all that said that I couldn't count it, because I fucking knew it was going to be a masterpiece. All right? Everyone who got on me about my top 10 trilogies. Dude, it's up there.
What about, I would say, within the realm of comic book movies? Because what's the measuring stick right now? Captain America and Guardians for trilogies for comic book?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's in there, too.
Spider-Man has the most solid trilogy of all time in the MCU. Over Guardians and over Captain America. Guardians 2, Captain 1,
I don't know.
Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, mwah, perfection all the way through. There's not a bad Spider-Man movie.
I'd say there's not a bad Guardians or Captain America.
The first Captain America movie,
Oh, it's incredible,
it's
dude.
No, it's a 6. It's a 6 or a 7. It's not a 10.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's not a 10.
I love it.
Captain America: The First Avenger is not a 10, sir.
No, I'm not saying it's a 10, but I'd say it's like an
Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man No Way Home. All 3 of those are 10s, man. Those are perfect movies.
I would say that in my mind, the lowest of Spider-Man is 2. I don't think the second movie is as strong as the other 2.
Oh, with Mysterio, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that one's a little bit weaker. And it's all subjective, but like for me, those are the kind of the standard bears. And Captain America is probably the first one because they actually wrapped it in 16 for
Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah.
So that's like the first one where it was like, oh my God, it's a comic book movie where all 3 movies are like fucking bangers. Right?
I mean, Iron Man
like,
1, 2, and 3 are not bad movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't count 2 and 3 as good as the first one.
Yeah.
But a
lot of people don't count Captain America 1 as a good movie. So I mean, if you're gonna play that logic with Iron Man, it's the same thing with Captain America.
I'm saying with Iron Man though, there's 2 of the 3 movies that a lot of people are like. So I love them. But
I the thing with Deadpool is we got 2 movies that are not MCU movies. We got one that is.
No, I'm just talking comic book trilogies.
Okay.
That's why I'm like cage it in there because like talking about it in the larger context of all trilogies, that's a lot to ask. But like in the realm because like comic books, I feel like you could probably count on one hand.
I mean,
great comic book trilogies because there's a lot of them out there where it's like Spider-Man 3 happened,
X3 happened,
X-Men 3 happened. Like you can
Blade 2 happened.
Yeah, there's most of these where it's like, God damn it, they just drop.
Is it 2 or 3 that's the really bad one? I can't remember.
They drop 1 or 2 movies. It's just common in comic book movies. Like it gets to the point where it happens, and it's just like.
I mean, it happens in Deadpool 2, Deadpool as well. We talked about it. Deadpool 2 has a.
I think Deadpool 2 has a couple areas that lag for me, but the overall movie, I think like the Cable stuff and some of the stuff that's good, helps buoy. But I will say the second's the weakest of the 3.
The second is absolutely the weakest of the 3. Now. Gun to my head, if you make me choose between Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm going to say fuck you. I'm not doing that.
I take this one just because of Wolverine, like that
first movie though. Maybe I'm just having nostalgia for it, but that first movie that first fourth wall break. Oh hey, yeah, I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get this movie? But I can't tell you. But
also,
it rhymes with Wolverine.
I do believe that today is the 10-year anniversary of the leaked footage.
Yeah.
For the first.
Thank
Deadpool.
you, Ryan. By the way.
And apparently that only just got confirmed like yesterday.
That
he admitted it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought that was like admitted like 6-7 years ago.
Dude, he admitted it on a. I think he admitted it with like a no, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like not actually came out and said, oh yeah, I did it.
But for me. This one's better than the first one because of adding Wolverine, getting us Wolverine in an R-rated realm.
Oh,
I know that the Logan was rated R, but this was like full-on, not post-apocalyptic old man Logan storyline.
Yeah.
This is like fucking Wolverine in the yellow costume with a fucking mask on, ripping people apart
with the regenerative abilities to be able to go ham on people.
Dude, it's great. Also, some of the lines from fucking Wolverine where it's like, you just murdered that kid. Some of those lines, and then he says it again with like the nice pool where he's like, you just fucking killed him. Like, just some of those are just great because it's like, it doesn't feel like what he should say, but it totally makes sense that he would say those. And I don't know why, but those just tickle me when those lines hit. I'm just like, dude, those are so fucking funny. But for
it's up there. It's up there for movie trilogies.
Yeah, no, and I think comic book wise, this gets into the realm of like those great trilogies of like ones that did not fuck up a movie. Like, yes, 2 has a couple lagging points, but like the movie's still overall pretty great. I think Cable really helped save that movie because he was incredible.
Yeah. My wife said that wasn't sad rated R. This was funny rated R.
Yes, I think that's part of it too. Yeah, like Logan is like. It's kind of a tough watch a little bit.
Oh,
like,
you were talking about it, especially with how much you love Patrick Stewart. It's hard to watch him.
Yeah, it's like I grew up on freaking Captain Picard. I then in a later childhood grew up on him in X-Men. So it's like, to see him in like that state is pretty tough to stomach for me. So, but this one, it's just, and yet there was some sadness in this too, right?
Yeah.
But it's like still the overall, and then dude, to see Wolverine going down like in that low charge. I don't know how to explain
like
it.
The animalistic, like on all fours kind of thing.
He's not fully on all fours because he's like low hunch, like he almost would be.
No, there
But
was one point where he had his claws out and he was using them to like.
Yeah, but there's another time where he's
propel himself.
where he's just going low and
Yeah.
and it's just that's like a classic Wolverine comic
Yeah.
book charge that's like we've never seen before. So it's like to see that was really fucking cool. I don't know. This movie was incredible, man. And I'm not gonna. I could see where you're at, where you're saying like it's hard to pick against the first Deadpool movie because like how do you don't have this without that one, right?
Yeah. And just like the fact that I'm able to quote that movie so much, just like, like, oh, such good storytelling too.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be
he has the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
I'm gonna be interested to see what happens with some downloads for music.
I was
Like his
which songs are gonna spike? Bye 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 is gonna spike. We know that.
that's In Sync.
Yes.
I can't keep them straight. Madonna's is gonna hit, and then maybe the Grease song.
Yeah.
I think those are ones where people that maybe have not heard those songs much, younger people especially,
Yeah.
might be hitting Spotify.
The
up
song
there.
when they first get in the Odyssey and drive away and he's all sad because he had to leave Dogpool. That's Avril Lavigne. That one could also.
Dude, he's like the corn was too thick.
Yeah.
Dude, how happy he got about Dogpool was just
So
fucking
dumb.
incredible.
Did you notice in the second rewatch, did they change the credits from the first two movies where they make fun of the people making the movie?
It's not in the first, and not in this one. No,
Yeah.
it's real names. I think the humor is the body. I think it would have been a hat on a hat, where it probably would have been going too far if you used the fake names while he's using desecrated necrophilia, as he said, hedging
Yeah.
on necrophilia to kill people. Like I think that would have been tough because then it's like, what are you watching? Silly names or him fucking brutally murdering people?
That's what we were talking about afterwards. Is like this movie has rewatch value already. That would have been one more thing for me to rewatch.
Yeah.
And watch for it.
And watch for Stan Lee's sign.
Dude,
on the
I have
bus.
to go back and watch for that.
I'm sure you guys will end up seeing it again. I know
Dude,
you guys.
My
don't go-
wife said in the chat she wants to go again, so I'm just like, oh, when am I going to find time?
Yeah, Grease Lightning. Good stuff.
Yeah.
This movie is incredible though. I don't like rating movies early because I feel like when I'm too close to something when it first is out, I feel like sometimes I'll rank it too high or too low, and then down the road I look back and go and then I
Yeah.
adjust. So I'm not going to say like let's rank it because I think we just talked pretty glowingly about it across the board. So I think it's safe to say we both liked it.
Loved it.
They
Thank you.
did a great job of sticking the landing for the trilogy. And like I said, I think that you probably add it into that count on one hand great comic book trilogies because hopefully that's gonna continue growing as time goes, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get some more sequels to other stuff. I guess the Avengers trilogy would be another one if you really wanted to. Oh, it's hard because Infinity War is kind of a two-parter. So, but it's like
it's Avengers 4 parts. It's not 3. You can't do 3.
I don't know. Infinity War is the tits
But
for me.
it's,
So if you're talking
it's,
1
it's
through 3,
part 1. I mean, like, let's be honest. It's part 1.
No, it used to be. Originally, when it was it Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 is what they originally calling it.
I'm telling you right now, it's still part 1 and part 2. You can't count those as separate. You know?
Well, if you're a Thanos fan like me, the worst thing you can do is watch Endgame. See all the progress undone.
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah, it was great stuff. What did he when he called Gambit? He's like, "You're like a super powered Hawkeye."
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff, man! This movie was fun, and this has been fun over the course of the last year and a half on this podcast. You know, talking about the news. We've been following this for a trailers, everything, and now to finally have it, it's fun to see and
Now we got to turn our attention to February and Captain America.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that one. So let's go ahead and let me make sure. Let's see, I clicked on the wrong thing. Find that. So that is it for the main topic. Let's go ahead and pop on over to the emails. If you want to email the show, let us know what you thought of the movie or tell us what you agree with or disagree with us. Maybe we forgot to mention something really awesome. Send the emails to either peter@geekeryabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, @geekeryabides.com.
Or submit your top 10 for next show's topic.
Yeah, which we haven't mentioned yet.
Not
so
yet.
let's go ahead and leave it to you because the next one's even. So that leaves it to that is your episode.
We're going to do the top 10 Marvel moments of the decade so far. So this decade, so 2020, which obviously had no Marvel moments really, to now.
And when you say Marvel, is that MCU or Marvel period?
Marvel Cinematic Universe, yeah. We're going to do Cinematic Universe, yeah, MCU.
Okay.
So Disney Plus stuff counts. That's 11 movies though. So counting Deadpool and Wolverine,
And the shows.
and then shows on top of that. So
Yeah.
there's quite a bit there to narrow down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to limit moments to being like a scene. If you want to talk about like the transformation of I just spaced on the character's name. Anthony Mackie.
Falcon?
Falcon. Yeah, what's the character's name?
I'm blanking.
Dude,
now.
yeah. Total blank
Uh,
on his name. If you want to talk about his development into being Captain America. Sam Wilson.
before I even
Yeah.
finished it. Well, because I typed Fallon instead of Falcon.
Yeah, if you want to talk about something like that, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But
I
I want
think-
to keep it more moments.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that. Moments is. Moments has got to be a moment.
Okay.
Because if it's like a transformation, like that's like you're talking full on character arcs. So, yeah, I think if you're saying moment,
Yeah.
I think we should keep it
All
moments.
right, let's
where
keep
it's
it
like-
moments then.
Yeah,
No, my wife just said Rhodes. No, that's War Machine.
yeah,
Yeah, that's Iron Man's sidekick.
good old War Machine. And the crazy thing when you do this decade, it means it starts in 2020. It means leaves Endgame. Off
It
the
does
table.
leave Endgame off the table. That's why I wanted to do it. Is I want to see Phase 4 and 5 basically is what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then the one other caveat I'm going to ask is up
Yeah.
to this point, does that include like a Red Hulk in the Captain America trailer?
no, it does not. That is not released. So far, right now, that is not released. That movie's not out.
Well, I know, but the Red Hulk has been. That's what I mean. It's like
Yeah, watch Red Hulk not even be in the fucking movie, and that's Marvel fucking with us, Tad.
Oh.
We know better.
Can you-
If it's not released, it's not official.
Dude,
you can't count it.
people would riot.
Oh, I'm just telling you.
people would riot.
I'm telling you, we are not going to forget the sins of us from years past. All right? We are not going to assume that Hulk is in Infinity War again. All right? If it's not out, it doesn't count. So up until Deadpool and Wolverine, that's the cutoff. And then the start is 2020.
2020.
January 1st, 2020.
Yes, there was nothing in 2020, right? Did MCU do-
Disney Plus came out with some stuff, didn't
Yeah,
they?
but MCU delayed all their movies. There was no movies that year, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, we still have the equivalent movies of what would have been released in 2020. They just got released later.
Yeah,
later
like
years. I don't
Black
remem-
Widow.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't remember.
Black
what
Widow
was
was one.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi was one?
No, that wasn't 2020, but Black Widow was for sure. So, sounds good. That'll be the next episode, which is in a fortnight from now. Remember, everyone, in about 35 minutes, Marvel's panel it begins at San Diego Comic-Con. If they are live streaming it, you should be able to watch it. And I'm wondering if we'll get like a timeline, we'll get some more details, maybe a title for Avengers 5, some directors. I kind of wonder if the Fantastic Four cast will be there. Wait, what was it we covered with Feige where he said we start filming the day after Comic-Con? Was it Fantastic Four?
I think it was Fantastic Four.
So I don't know.
There was no Disney Plus shows in 2020. WandaVision came out January 15th, 2021. So we had no Marvel for the entire year of 2020.
Okay.
No wonder that year sucks.
So I wonder.
mean,
I wonder if the Fantastic Four won't be there then, because if they're starting filming, unless they're filming in San Diego, I don't know if you're going to have the cast on hand today when they're filming tomorrow.
yeah, probably not.
So either way, got about 35 minutes till that starts, but we will sign off as we always do. As I always do, I'll sign off by saying, love what you love, let your geek flag fly high, and to hell with anyone that wants to tell you anything about guilty pleasures.
Let's fucking go.
Indeed. And sorry I didn't get any sound bites for this. It is tough when it's a movie in theaters to get sound
Yeah.
bites for. But yeah, we will sign off and see you guys in a fortnight from now, which is August 10th, where we'll be talking about that top 10 moments. See you guys. Thanks for joining us, Max and Lydia. See ya.
Bye, everyone.